#1 aluminum-free brand that keeps you feeling like a Super Bowl champion 24/7 when used daily. But don't wait. This dynamic duo is available at Costco for a limited time only. Old Spice, official deodorant partner of the NFL and Super Bowl 59, where freshness meets football greatness.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station, your home for the NFL, regular season, playoffs, and Super Bowl. It's Wildcats Radio 1290.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
I mean, this place was, the last two places we played are electric, and I'm an Arizona guy, and I love Arizona, but this is not an indictment on our fans, but we got work to do. There's a gap. There's a gap between Kansas and Iowa State in these game day atmospheres and their fan support. I mean, it was awesome today and crazy impressive. I mean, I'm just out there listening to their senior speeches. I wasn't listening. I had to speak on the radio, but 90% of the fans are still there 20 minutes after listening to the senior speeches. I mean, it's pretty special.
Well, he said it was not an indictment on the Arizona Wildcats fan base, but I think a lot of people in the fan base sure did take it as that, as an indictment. The latest comments, and this is not the first time that Tommy Lloyd has come out and said that he'd like to see a better environment at McKale Center. He said, you can go back to his first season. He said that we need to step it up. We need to step up our game. And we knew going into this new conference, things were going to be different when you went on the road. Every environment pretty much, except for, they played what? They played 10 road games in this league, if I'm not mistaken. Other than, Oklahoma State, and it was kind of cold that night, and it was a little bit of a late start there. Bad weather. Heck, even in the bad weather in West Virginia that night, the folks came out pretty good. Cincinnati, we could go down the line and rate them, the 10, but they were all pretty decent environments, 1 to 10, compared to obviously maybe what we left in the Pac-12. And trust me, I went to Southern California, and until they built the Galen Center, nobody showed up. When I was in school, we would be lucky to get 2,000-3,000 people at USC home games, except obviously when UCLA came to town or when an Arizona came to town, and then it might be a little bit bigger than that. But you go into places like Fog Allen Fieldhouse and Ames Coliseum and whatever they call the supermarket building in Lubbock, and it has been crazy this season, and that is what Tommy Lloyd wants to see here in Tucson. Is that possible? Maybe. Maybe not. J-Dub had some really good thoughts on it on Saturday post-game. If you missed that, head on over to our Twitter account, Wildcats1290. I'm sure he'll reiterate some of that today. I have been here now 17 years. I did not grow up here. And I think if you listen to what J-Dub said on Saturday, he was talking a lot about people like me who came in from somewhere else, who have made Tucson their home, who love to go to these games, U of A games, but don't necessarily get fanatical about it. I love going to the games. I love cheering for our kids when I'm there as a fan. Heck, I quietly cheer for them when I'm there as working. But I'm not crazy about it. It's not like when I go watch my Browns or go watch my Cavaliers or something and smoke is coming out of my head. It's not like that. It's not like that for me. And that's what the essence of, and JW can correct me if I'm wrong, that's the essence of what I believe you were talking about on Saturday night. We love to go. I love to watch it. I want to see the Wildcats win, but am I getting up at every opportunity to cheer? To me, it's a home. It's a sporting event in the town where I live in, and I'm supporting the home team, but I'm not pulling my hair out about it. Now, there are a lot of fans that do pull their hair out about it, and I think that Tommy wants to see more of those types of fans at McKale Center. I get that. But for me, and again, this is me speaking as an outsider, so I want to hear from the insiders. I want to hear from other people like J-Dub who have been here and gone to these games since you were 7 or 8 years old. I still get goosebumps when I go into that place. I love the environment. I still enjoy going to those home games. It is so much fun. It's one of the reasons I've stayed in this market. This is the longest I've ever worked anywhere. I've been here now. This will be the end of year 18, I think, year 17 or 18. I moved here in 08. So the end of year 17. Next year will be year 18. And I still get a really big jolt out of going into McKale Center and watching Arizona basketball games. Now, again, and I've grown up I lived in some college towns. Normal Illinois, smaller, mid-major, but, when we would go in Illinois State, back in the day, we'd go into Horton Fieldhouse and I've told the story before, when, back in the days of the Missouri Valley, you had Nolan Richardson coaching there. You had Dick Versace coaching there. You had all these legendary guys that went on to great things. Nolan Richardson at Arkansas and Dick Versace in the NBA and some other schools. Man, we rocked Horton Fieldhouse back in the day when those giants came to town, and that was mid-major basketball. And this was in the years after Indiana State made it to the national championship game. So you still, even in a mid-major, you still have that feeling that, hey, if we get enough kids, we might just still be good enough to replicate what Indiana State did 4 or 5 years ago and get deep into the NCAA tournament. So I've lived that. I lived in Kent, Ohio at Kent State, another mid-major, but maybe not to the level of their fandom at the time I was there, as you would find maybe in a Bloomington Normal or some of those other places like Tulsa or Wichita State back in the day. College towns. We knew we were going into a college town league. You're not, this is not Los Angeles. This is not Seattle. This is not San Francisco, where all these colleges are secondary to professional teams. You are in a league now where it's all about Kansas. It's all about Kansas State. It's all about Iowa State. It's all about Texas Tech. And so, yeah, although I still love that environment, he's right. It's not those other places. It's not. Can we make it that? I don't know. Can we be better than we are? Sure. I don't know the answers to those, but hey, the Desiree Reed Francois and Company came in here with this mantra of how they were fan engagement people. So I'm sure if anybody's going to be able to figure it out, it's going to be them. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. J-Dub, any new thoughts after you slept on this whole thing? I read one comment that we got. Dude said, after I slept on it, I felt even worse about what he said. And there's a lot of people out there that are not happy with the comments that Tommy Lloyd made.
First and foremost, we need to make a delineating line between fan support and atmosphere. Arizona has been top 25 out of 350-plus teams, top 25 in attendance every single year since Coach Lloyd was 7 years old. Every single year since 84, Arizona has been top 25 nationally in attendance. The fan support has always been there. My dad was a professor at the U of A in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. I was fortunate enough to go to games at Bear Down. At McKale, DK, during Sean Elliott and Steve Kerr's era, there was an Ames, Iowa atmosphere. It was a Lawrence, Kansas atmosphere. What is Tucson? Tucson in 1990 was a town of 450,000 people. It's more than twice that size now, 35 years later. Tucson is a town where people retire to for health reasons, because they like sunsets, because they like saguaros, any number of reasons. Lawrence, Kansas is a city of 90,000 people today. It was 60,000 people in 1990. Ames is the same. Both similar. People don't retire there. So who lives there? People who are 7th, 10th generation Cyclones fans, 20th generation Jayhawks fans. Why is the atmosphere better at Hilton? Well, it's because every single person who's in that building has always bled for Iowa State Cyclone basketball. Unfortunately for the Arizona Wildcats, many of the rabid fans have been priced out by people who have moved here, relocated with money to the foothills or surroundings areas of Tucson, have season tickets, and love going to games and love to cheer for Arizona. They don't, however, paint their face. They don't have jerseys from the 1960s, 70s, and 80s hanging in their house because they just became fans in the last 10 or 15 years. Tino, Tucsonan in name only. The idea behind the people in McKale are those who love basketball. Why else would they be there? But what Coach is talking about is the atmosphere of entrenched people who taught their grandchildren and their grandchildren's grandchildren how to be a fan of the Cyclones, how to be a fan of BYU. You want to talk another entrenched fan base? Provo. What percentage of Provo, Utah are BYU? People who live in Provo are actively fans of BYU. All of them, 90% of them. So a lot of the cities in this conference, guys, are cities with fans and fan bases that have only ever known rooting for that team. And as you just laid out, DK, you moved here from LA, from Cleveland, from different parts of the country. You love the Arizona Wildcats brand. You love the excitement of the games, but you haven't been there in that. First of all, you're a journalist, so you're not rooting for it. You just want to see them do well. But the idea of this has not been a part of your lifestyle for your 50 plus years, right?
Right.
And that's a lot of the fans in McKale. It's not that they're not there to root for Arizona. It's just that they haven't known a life since they were kids of it's Arizona basketball or bust. And that's the McKale atmosphere. When there's a big run or they get up again, if there's a great top 25 matchup, top 10 matchup, obviously it's much louder. That can be shown by any UCLA game over the past 25 years relative to any other game where, the Beavers or Ducks come into town. It's just what it is. I think Coach Lloyd comes from a small town. He knows what that's like. He knows what it's like to be around people who've only ever known rooting for it. I'm sure the people in Spokane root exclusively for the Zags, right? Unfortunately, Tucson is one of the most transient places in America. It's just nothing but people who've relocated here from other places and brought many of their allegiances with them. And again, in the 90s, when Arizona went to their second Final Four behind Khalid Reeves and Damon Stoudemire, that's when the ticket prices started raising higher and higher and higher, priced out quite a lot of the rabid fan base. That's what you see in a lot of these other small communities is people who have sat in the same seats, DK, for what, 30, 40, 50 years, passed it down to their kids. That's not the case here in Tucson. It's kind of a let's go be seen and see each other at McKale. It's a big ticket item. Again, top 25 in attendance for 45 consecutive years. People love going to McKale because the last time Arizona had a losing record in basketball, 84. So they've been a winning team every single year during that same exact stretch. So it's a tough conversation, DK, because every single fan who's been in McKale since the 80s and 90s wants it to be louder and more rambunctious. Of course they do. But who are we asking to do that? It's not a group of people that are on campus. It's a group of people that live in Marana and Oro Valley and extended parts of Tucson. And you want to go and rally those communities to be louder in McKale. It's not a matter of getting Zona Zoo to be more organized. It's a very disorganized group in McKale in general because everybody's there for different reasons. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you one thing. In the 80s and 90s, we had chants. There were newspapers involved. Who's he? So forth and so on. Ooh, man did his thing. It's gone away. So much more, commercial breaks with flames and, I mean, it's
Be
just,
careful. Those are some of our people.
I understand. And I like those people. What I'm saying is that how do you appeal? How do you get a whole group of people, 14,000 people to be rambunctious in McKale? Well, some of them want to hear rap music, DK, and other ones want to hear yacht rock. That's what I'm saying.
Ooh. Man, yeah, I love yacht rock, but I don't know how much it fits in a college basketball game.
Nah, there's some music that you can put in there. I mean, you're not playing Beethoven in the halftime show unless it's a very specific act. You're not playing Beethoven at the halftime show.
Are you saying England Dan and John Ford Coley? That's not going to play.
Probably not.
Ambrosia is not Arizona basketball music.
No.
Okay. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number. We want to hear from you. You're going to hear from a lot of people in this show. Annalise Holthouse and Roy Hoffmeyer are going to join us. Pima women's basketball went on the road yet again to number 1 seed Mesa and took down the Thunderbirds. Everybody going to the national tournament up on West Anklam Road. We love it. We got to get all we got to do now is we got to get Arizona women into this tournament, and we can say, once again, all 4 of our college basketball teams are playing in the postseason. Women they're going to go in the postseason. They're going to be in one of those tournaments. But the question is, are they going to go to the NCAA tournament? But congratulations, Pima men, Pima women. You'll hear from Ryan Peabody. I believe we've got Max Marley that you'll hear from as well. Colagar Classic yesterday was up there. Awesome Sunday at La Paloma. Steve Elker came from 4 shots down to win that, and you'll hear from him. Caught up with Ted Purdy afterward from the University of Arizona. Caught up with Willie Wood from Sabino High School. Let you hear from them as well. Kim Doss is going to join us from AZ Desert Swarm. She was at the Big 12 women's basketball tournament. We'll hear from her about that event. Arizona women's chances. Arizona softball losing their first Big 12 series, although they rallied on Sunday and got a run rule to avoid being swept. But got losing 2 out of 3 to Central Florida. That was very unexpected. You'll hear from Caitlin Lowe and a couple of the ladies as well from that. Gym Cats finished 5-1 in their first year in the Big 12. They've got a non-conference match coming up for senior night this weekend, but they finished second to Utah and are headed to the Big 12 tournament a little bit. That's still a little bit away. It's probably about another 2.5 weeks away before we get to the Big 12 gymnastics tournament. All of that coming up for you straight ahead. It is DK on the Sports Tip. Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is
Collisions
sponsored
reported
by
caution.
Bank of America. What if your business could see beyond what is and into what can be? Whether you're a local shop or global enterprise, Bank of America gives you access to a range of business solutions to help make every move matter. What would you like the power to do? Find out how at bankofamerica.com/banking for business.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. Collisions reported crash in Oro Valley at Oracle and McGee and Oracle with southbound backups. On I-10, collision I-10 in Orange Grove on eastbound I-10 east of Orange Grove and some slowing. Another collision, this one I-10 westbound I-10 approaching the Ajo-Kino connection, slowing there as well. 50 the overnight low, 76 sunny tomorrow, rain by Thursday with a 90% chance of showers on Thursday and 81 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
The jungle has moved afternoon, so grab your best Tucson tuxedo and join us on the Jim Rome Show weekdays from noon till 3 p.m. right here on the flagship home of your Arizona Wildcats, Wildcats Radio 1290.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online, no medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/news. That's ethos.com/news.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
Oh, I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Ace, you're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at Metamucil.com.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online, no medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/score. Ethos.com/score.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Sure do love this time of year.
Me too. People smiling at each other, sun is shining.
Everybody singing those holiday songs.
Holiday songs?
We're talking about Alaska vacation season, right?
Yeah, but
there aren't any Alaska vacation songs. Oh, wait.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Like angels from the heavens.
Not even close to that.
But when Alaskan AC performs our exclusive Alaska vacation, it's primed and prepped for the coming summer heat.
And every Alaska vacation comes with our guarantee of no breakdowns all summer long.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Still no angels.
But people love singing it. Come on. If you want your AC to last...
No.
Do we have to sing? Yes. All summer long with an Alaska
No.
Okay, but don't come crying to me if you Scrooges don't get anything from the Alaska Vacation Bunny.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Hey, it's David Kelly, DK on the Sports Tip. Don't forget to download the Wildcats Radio 1290 app. It slaps. We've got full coverage of the Wildcats, the Suns, the Cardinals, the Diamondbacks, Pima College. Download the Wildcats Radio 1290 app today.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Our question of the day is what we talked about in the first segment. Do you agree or disagree with Tommy Lloyd's comments after the Arizona Wildcats lost at Kansas about the environment at McKale Center and that U of A fans have some work to do to meet the fandom that the team is seeing in other Big 12 hoops venues? Head on over right now to Twitter, Wildcats 1290. You can vote in our poll right now. 57%, 57 to 43. Yes, the coach is spot on. We want to hear from you. 520-848-1290. Call us, text us at that number. Interact on any of our social media platforms. We'll get Dragon Ball's thoughts on it at all as well coming up. But first, let's head to the phones and chat with Alfonso. You're on DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hey, hello, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Hey, I disagree with Coach Lloyd, and this is why. I just reiterate what T-W had mentioned earlier. I went to U of A in the 90s, and I went to many U of A football games, and not so many basketball games. The reason why is because you had to take a lottery, and it was very hard. You know, as time progressed, tickets were more expensive, and I think that kind of was the stigma. It's like, well, we can go to a football game, but not a basketball game. So I think there's some work to do there, but also more importantly, I heard what Coach Lloyd said, but who's he talking to? Yes, he's talking to the people, but where? What I mean by that is, yes, he wants folks to be more rabid, and I understand that, but where's his community outreach? Does he go on the podcast? Does he go on the radio? Yes, he does once a week, but you really don't see that. I mean, it has to work both ways. I mean, there's other coaches that are very vocal. They go out to the community. They say, this is where we need your support. Again, it works both ways. And then also, I like what J-Dub said, is that it is an older population. Not to go on and on, but, I live by Old Tucson, and my neighbors, one's from Texas, the other one's from Ohio. You can see this Ohio State flag out there. Another one's from Alaska. The other one's from London. But still, we do have a population with 1 million. So there is, you want those to be, it's kind of like that on the floor, but it has to work both ways. Coach Lloyd, where are you at? You can't just put up on Twitter and
Alfonso, we're kind of losing you. Your signal is breaking up there. But maybe we'll put him back on hold and see if we can get a better signal from him. But
thanks, Alfonso.
Yeah, he's got some great thoughts there. And again, reiterated a little bit of what I was talking about. I mean, I live in the complex I live in. A lot of the folks, it's kind of a mix of snowbirds and people that are from that have been living here for a long time, but it's also a lot of folks that are just not necessarily from here in Southern
Here's
Arizona.
a true story. You ready? So when Coach Lloyd was 8 years old, he and his buddies were counting how many logging trucks went through their town. And this is a true story. When I was 8 years old, you know what my favorite pastime was?
What's that?
Counting how many different states I could pick out on license plates on the way to school. When I was 8 years old, and I'm almost 50. So the idea of Tucson being a whole bunch of people retiring here from other places because of respiratory issues, because, again, they really like sunsets, because maybe there's no mountains where they come from, and they want to be able to pop up Mount Lemmon, any other number of reasons. The idea of Tucson being a group of a bunch of different people coming from a bunch of different places is not new in 2025. When I was 8 years old, my favorite pastime was counting how many different states' license plates on the way to school. And we're talking 10 or 15 or more. And that was a 15-minute drive every day. So this is nothing new. And to Alfonso's point, I mean, I completely agree. We all agree with Coach Tommy Lloyd that Arizona's atmosphere in McKale could be more rambunctious. This is not a new thing. It's because, again, when the prices of the tickets raise over time, and a lot of people are transplants living in the foothills who have season tickets or are boosters or part of the Wildcat Club, who don't necessarily have an affiliation with Arizona, a big bulk of the fans who have come game after game after game in support are giving their money. They're giving their time. They're supporting the University of Arizona Wildcats basketball program by being there physically in McKale Center. They also haven't been yelling at the top of their lungs for 25 years for the same different freshmen to sophomores to juniors to senior class cycle like a lot of us have. So, again, I agree with him. Let me make it perfectly clear. I agree with Coach Lloyd 100% that Arizona's atmosphere in McKale from opening tip or 20 minutes before opening tip until 10 minutes after opening tip could be more rambunctious, could be more energized. The question is, who are we talking to and who are we talking about? A lot of times you're talking about retirees in their 70s, 80s, even 90s who don't have an affiliation with the U of A, didn't go to school here. Maybe they moved out here, DK, because their grandchild enrolled at the U of A. And they came out and visited one spring, and they're like, we're thinking about retiring someplace warm. This is good as any other place. Let's go there. Housing prices are good enough for us now. That was the last 30, 40 years of Tucson's history. So there's really no correct answer to how to do this because any outreach has to be to a bunch of different groups of people. You got to go to bingo parlors. You got to go to the EDM clubs. You got to go to the Cowboy Western clubs. It's not a matter of there's one central figure as the head of the U of A sports fandom club who will trickle it down to everybody else. That's not how Tucson works.
520-848-1290 is the number for you to get in on the program. Let's chat with Paul in Phoenix. You're on DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
You guys have hit a sensitive subject with me, okay? Because this is, I totally agree with Tommy, okay? J-Dub, I hear what you're saying, okay? But I just remember when I was a student back in the mid-'80s, okay, And I can say that I'd love to say that I was in that crowd when we started some of the old traditions that are not taking place right now. Some of the things where, and again, it's really difficult to hand out newspapers to people where we'd kind of hold our face up, hold the newspaper in front of our face.
Do those things even exist anymore?
Exactly.
Well, it was,
Thank you.
okay, just for the record, for people who don't know, it was the band and the student section. So during the introductions of the other team, this tradition went on for 20 years. I mean, I must have went to 100 games at McKale where this tradition went on. And the tradition used to be that the band initially was the ones, and then the student section, anybody behind the band, would hold up newspapers. When the first player was announced, they would, after the announcement, they would yell, "Who's he?" And then, "So what?" And "Who cares?" And this was a tradition that went on forever, and now it's no longer a tradition. So
now, and it's interesting because there was a time, maybe like a year or two after Sean Miller got here, that he actually went and met with the Zona Zoo and tried to get some coordination going. Like they used to do the bounce, 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 pass. That was a Sean Miller thing. That was something Sean Miller went to them and said, we got to come up with something like that. And I think there were a lot of people that kind of scoffed and said, oh, that's kind of dumb.
Well, how about the free throw stuff when the other team would miss a free throw and it was "nice shot, buddy"?
Yeah,
you hear that a little bit.
Yeah,
they still do that. They still do that.
That started in the 90s. Yeah, in the 1990s that started.
But this is where you need the in-game production guys to be involved. You can flash it up on the board. When the guy misses a free throw, you can easily put the word "nice" up there and let the crowd go "nice shot" and just put it up there and you would have more fan involvement. When the fans see the word "nice," it just means "nice shot, buddy." But the other thing I was thinking is, why can't we do, okay, if Coach Lloyd wants suggestions or wants, hey, I'll give you a suggestion. And people are going to go, "Paul, you're ridiculous. It's never going to work." But why not? Let's give it I'm just throwing it out there. We're throwing out suggestions, right? How about this? We appoint at the beginning of every season in basketball, okay, we appoint a student or maybe 4 students to represent and become the honorary UA men or women of the season or whatever it may be, and get that tradition going again. The God rest the soul of the UA man, but he would get the crowd involved, and you can't tell me anybody says, "Oh God, that's old." No, it's not. That's part of our tradition, and I would love to see the students have a chance to say who, and they'd all say, "We don't know who the UA man is." Well, you know what? Let's educate them. Let's get them on there, and let's get the UA team out there to say, "Come on, crowd, get out there at half court and get the crowd up." And it's of course it's during commercial breaks, right? But the reality is, get the crowd. Let's go. Let's make this happen. And that's just one silly suggestion from a fan who I just remember. And the other thing is, I think what do we have? 2,750 students allowed in. And I know it's going to cut into some of the profits.
Right.
Can we jump that to 4,000 and have them stretch around right behind the other team's bench? Other teams do it. Why can't we have them stretch around just a little bit right behind the other team's bench? And just let's get that involved. And you tell the students, hey, you have an opportunity to sit, three rows behind Bobby Hurley. Hello, that would be nice. Wouldn't that be fun? Why not? It's all in good fun. It's all clean. You know what I mean? But you do that, and again, I think the fandom is good, if not above good. But I love to see it great when UCLA comes to town and you see some of the stuff. I just think the in-game production needs to be upgraded a little bit, and that can be done. That's what Desiree's there for, and that she has some smart people that they need to take care of that. Or maybe we just get JW out there. Maybe JW is the UA man. Maybe. I don't know.
I think Doug, right?
I think Doug would be
the one.
He would be perfect for that role.
Doug? Okay.
I mean, Doug already paints his face and runs around and gets the crowd. That's what Doug is the UA man. He just does it in the stands because he's not allowed on the court. Paul, I have a suggestion for you. How about this?
Yes, sir.
How about the University of Arizona football team perennially gets themselves into the top 25 so that McKale doesn't have to support the entire athletic department, and they don't have to have those seats, 3 seats behind Bobby cost $10,000, right? I mean, what we're talking about here is that the seats in McKale, for the most part, have gone up and up and up because let me repeat myself. For 45 consecutive years, Arizona has finished in the top 25 nationally in average attendance per game. For 40-plus consecutive years, Arizona has finished in the top 25 nationally in attendance per game. So McKale's always full. McKale's always been full. The question there is, who are you filling it up with? People who want to yell at Bobby Hurley, or people who want to talk to each other about what they're wearing?
Right, but J-Dub, in Lawrence, Kansas, don't you think they also go to their boosters and say, hey, we need some help financially? And they have their good share of top dollar boosters who also go there, that they want to be, just more to be seen. But that crowd seems pretty energetic.
There's also 96,000 people in that city today. The population of Lawrence is 96,000. What percentage of those 96,000 residents do you think can afford tickets to go see the Jayhawks play at home? And of that percentage of people who can afford it, what percentage of them are legacy 10th generation people? So again, let me repeat myself. As far as the energy you see in Hilton and the energy you see in Fog Allen, it's organic. It's the same. It is what it is. I think we just lost him.
Yeah, I think we lost Paul. But Paul, great thoughts as always.
Doug,
you laughed so hard you disconnected.
Doug is the guy. I mean, when I hear of let's bring back the Ooh Man, I just think of Doug.
Yeah,
because that's what he does anyway.
Right. Absolutely. Maybe we need to have that conversation with somebody and see if he would be up for doing it. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. We can continue this conversation, and we want to. We want to hear your thoughts on how you think it can be better. What can Arizona do to improve it? I mean, again, you've got season ticket holders. You've got folks that have paid a lot of money to be in the seats that they're in. Can we reconfigure some of that? Is it possible to do that and maybe move the kids a little bit closer or give them more seats like Paul suggested, get more kids into the building to be able to kind of create a little bit of a different atmosphere there? I would just be interested, and I don't know the numbers, just to see what the fan ticketing is like or the student ticketing is like at a lot of these other places in terms of their student sections, how many they have in the building and whatnot, and see where we are in terms of those particular numbers.
I can tell you this much. The students used to be right behind the benches. And in the 1990s, when population exploded and when the price for tickets at McKale went up, DK, and the demand for tickets at McKale went up, they moved all of them behind the basket.
Mm-hmm.
So they already used to be there. It's when the demand for those courtside seats in the first 25 or 30 rows for spectators went up and people were willing to pay money, willing to be a part of the Wildcat Club in order to even just get the rights to get season tickets in those seats. That's when they got moved, and they've been behind the bench, behind the stanchions ever since.
Well, I've got an idea. We'll get to it a little bit later. We're going to talk some Pima women's basketball coming up. Roy Hoffmeyer and Annalise Holthaus going to join us. They are headed to the national tournament yet again. DK on the Sports Tip. Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions reported I-10 near Ajo Kino and slowing as well. Westbound on I-10 approaching Ajo Kino. Crash on eastbound I-10 east of Orange Grove with expect restrictions and slowdowns in Oro Valley, Oracle, and McGee. Southbound backups on Oracle approaching McGee. 50 the overnight low, 76 and sunny tomorrow and 81 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Bank of America. What if your business could see beyond what is and into what can be? Whether you're a local shop or global enterprise, Bank of America gives you access to a range of business solutions to help make every move matter. What would you like the power to do? Find out how at bankofamerica.com/banking for business.
Essential Pest Control leaves bugs belly up with science.
Smart solutions to eliminate bugs, bees, and weeds this spring.
Science nerds, choose Essential.
Essential Pest Control leaves bugs belly up. Call 886-3029 or visit essentialpest.com.
Arizona basketball never sleeps.
Puts an elbow into him twice. Jumpers up and good for Toby Awaka. Stolen. Here's Love on the run. Going to drive to the bucket and lay it in. Three ball is up and good, and the Wildcats are back in front.
Cats are in Kansas City Thursday night for the Big 12 quarterfinals. Opponent still to be determined. Pregame starts at 3 with tip-off at 6:30 right here on your home for Arizona basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
My best friend died suddenly, and now his wife and kids have to move out of their house. I had no idea he didn't have life insurance. If I could go back, I'd tell him how easy and affordable protecting your family can be with SelectQuote. In 15 minutes, a licensed insurance agent found me a $500,000 life insurance policy for only $18 a month. They compare many of the nation's most highly rated insurance carriers to find the right coverage and price for your needs. In the last 40 years, they've helped more than 2 million families secure over $700 billion in coverage. Even if you have a health concern, SelectQuote agents can find you the right policy at the lowest price. Don't wait until it's too late. Get peace of mind that your loved ones are protected with life insurance.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-480-5454 for your free quote today. That's 1-800-480-5454. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-480-5454.
Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
He's coming. Here he comes. Surprise! Your table saw broke. Also, the warranty expired weeks ago, so you need to pay for a new one out of pocket.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Oh, and the replacement part you ordered doesn't fit, so it's completely useless.
What a waste.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Proof Artisanal Pizza and Pasta, featuring delicious handcrafted pizza specialties like Polynesian pie, buffalo chicken, veggie pie, pesto chicken, baked potato, mushroom, and artichoke, just to name a few. Hungry yet? Try their handcrafted pastas, carbonara rustico, feelin' blue, chicken piccata, green machine. The list goes on. Proof offers pizza and pastas in gluten-free or vegan options. Want more? Proof's Artisanal Pizza and Pasta also has amazing entrees like salmon, mushroom risotto, lasagna, New York strip, and Chiappino. Lunch specials noon to 3 and happy hour every day from 3 to 6. Discounted drinks, savory apps, and you guessed it, pizza. Proof Artisanal Pizza and Pasta at the southeast corner of River and Campbell in the St. Philip's Plaza or online at ProofTucson.com.
And this Friday, we have a sweet deal for you from Proof Artisanal Pizza and Pasta. You can get a $50 gift certificate for just $25. And this sweet deal will go on sale this Friday morning at 8:30 at WildcatsRadio1290.com.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year, we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
I'm Bill Ryder with a Sports Minute. Let's give credit to the Pittsburgh Steelers for bringing in DK Metcalf and giving him a massive 4-year extension. And he's an addition for a Steelers team in desperate need of a playoff win. But if this leads to Aaron Rodgers becoming the starting quarterback in Pittsburgh, if this convinces either side that Rodgers can be the guy, it'll turn out to be a dud of a move, a Trojan horse that brings down the Steelers. I'm Bill Ryder.
This is the story of the one. As a quality technician in a food processing center, she knows that making the right call is the best way to avoid a recall. That's why she trusts Grainger's world-class supply chain to deliver the high-quality supplies she needs to help keep her production line, her equipment, and her customers happy and healthy. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay, things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Share your opinions on what we've been talking about in the first hour, and that's the environment at the McKale Center. But right now we're going to talk about some more college basketball. College basketball of the Pima variety as the Aztecs, both the men and the women, winning their region championships over the weekend. The men did so on Friday night. The ladies going up to Mesa and winning it on Saturday night. And we're pleased to be joined from the Pima women's basketball team, Annalise Holthouse, the coach's daughter, Rory Hoffmeyer, joining us. Ladies, welcome and congratulations. I'll start with you, Annalise. I mean, I know you've been around this thing for a long time, cheering your dad and his teams on, but that had to have been a special family moment for you to finally be a part of a team that wins the region championship with your dad.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. It was definitely like a surreal moment. I mean, I've been to a lot of regional playoffs. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose, but I mean, there's only been one time where Pima has cut down Mesa's net, and unfortunately, they didn't get to go to the national tournament because of COVID. That was the year of COVID. Yeah. So it's a really special moment for, I think, our team, but especially with me and my dad, being able to cut down Mesa's nets for a second time. So feels a little extra stuff.
When you ran and jumped into his arms, I saw that video. What was in your heart when you went and you hugged your dad like that?
Well, we all ran out to the court, and I was like, wait, I got to go hug my dad. I mean, he's our coach, yeah, but this is such a special moment to share between a father and a daughter, and I can't leave him hanging over there. I know he had his coaches to go hug, but I think I owed him one.
And Annalise Holthouse joining us along with Rory Hoffmeyer from the Pima women's basketball team. And Rory, obviously you guys had played Mesa a couple times this season, and you know they always talk about how it's so hard to beat a team 3 times in 1 year. What was the game plan going up there to try to secure this region championship and knock off the rivals?
We had a game plan of just being the tougher team. Like, in the end, it was the team that wanted it most, came out on top, and Pima wanted it most. And we had prepared for it for the first time. We lost to Mesa, but we knew that once we won them first, we knew it was done. Season was over, and we were going to cut down their nets.
Yeah, which is interesting because you guys, the first game was up there this season, and obviously you guys fell in that game, and then you came back here and you beat them by 10 at home in the regular season. What did you guys learn from that first meet? I mean, it was a tight game. You only lost by 4 points, but what did you learn about them and what it was going to take to beat them that second time? And then what did you take out of the second meeting we just need to shore these few things up and we should be able to get them in this opportunity as well?
The first time, I mean, I'll give credit to where it's deserved. Mesa's a tough team. Like, they've always been a tough team, but once we lost, we knew we had to tweak a few things. We knew we had to step up our defense, run our offense, and stick together as a team. I mean, we do a great job on both ends of the team, but once we secured the first win, we knew that they were beatable. And in the end, like, we do it once, we're going to do it again, and we're going to do it exactly when it counts.
Rory, for you, 7 points, 13 rebounds in the final on Saturday night. What allowed you to dominate the board so well?
I've always been more of a rebounder. Like, I've known ever since I came to Pima, they've always told me, like, we just need you to get rebounds. So I knew in my heart, like, once that shot goes up, my goal is just to get it and get the ball. So I just put my mind to it.
And I understand a little bit of a bittersweet night for you. You suffered a death in the family?
Yeah, I lost my papa the night before.
Oh, wow. Your grandfather?
Yes.
Oh. What did he mean to you in your basketball career?
He was kind of the start of it. Like, he grew up playing basketball, and he was the one that did extra practices with me in a church parking lot. He took me to all my games. He was the number one supporter on that bench. He was always front row, and I heard him out of everyone in that court. So I knew he was there with me that night.
Yeah. Annalise, I remember it was just a few years ago that I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, senior night at Iron Ridge when you announced that you were going to go play for your dad, if I remember that correctly.
Yeah, it was the senior night of my high school, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and just to see it through for these 2 years. What did you learn from him as a coach over these last 2 years that has put you in a better place as a player?
Well, I can definitely say I've improved probably the most out of my basketball career in the past 2 years at Pima. I don't know if it's because he is my dad, but his style of coaching is kind of just what I need. Like I'm not really a fan of the soft coaching or like days off here and there. Like he gets on us, and I feel like that's how we all learn. Not just me, but we all learn the quickest and the hardest is just from tough practices. Like just being resilient, I guess, is the best thing I've taken away from him. So.
And for both of you, what was to be able to add a player like Kylie Sowers-Miller this year, who obviously had some opportunities to go D1 right out of high school, and I believe like she won like the first 5 Player of the Weeks in a row. What did she really add to this team?
She is just a dominator on offense and defense. Like she really set a good like standard for a beast in the Aztec gym. Like we know we can beat her and she's going to put it up. And if she doesn't put it up, she'll get a rebound and put it up. Or if not, she's going to foul. Like she's a key player. Like we had a really good girl last year, Riley Oshawa, and she was a guard. But I mean, it's really important to have some post work, and adding Kylie in that mix and how like athletic she is for being a big, like she's added so much to the team, and it's incredible to see what she's going to do too.
And obviously, Annalise, I'm sure you played, with some of these other local girls like Katie Burns out of Foothills and Montanea Vital out of Amphi High School. Do you remember any of those meetings with them before y'all got together on the same team?
Oh, absolutely. There's them too, but there's also Cassie Coolidge, who I played for like 2 years from Saguaro, and Katie I actually played club with, so I got to be on a. I didn't get to just play against her, but I mean and Ame, we also have Amelie. I played against her for Sabino. So, I mean, we all see each other around, and then it's kind of fun to, like, see them be the best on their high school or club teams and then get the opportunity to play with them, alongside them. And that's kind of what makes our team the best, I guess. Just all of us combining our strengths to be the best team out there.
Rory, did you play club ball as well over in Yuma?
I played up on a Phoenix team, so I played a couple of these girls too.
Outstanding. What was it? What was the emphasis for you choosing Pima as the program you wanted to continue with in college?
I had gone on a couple visits, especially around. I've been to Mesa. I went to most of the local colleges, but when I came to Pima, like everything just felt right. I knew I could come here, and I knew like I would get better, and then it would be my home away from home. So once I did my little visit here, I told my dad to turn around on the freeway. I had to come back and tell Coach Todd, like, I'm going to be an Aztec.
How far had y'all gotten on the freeway?
We were about 30 minutes from Pima, and I was like, yeah, Dad, like, it feels right. I got to go back.
30 minutes, and you had Dad turn around and come back?
Yeah, I was like, sorry, Dad, but we got to go. He thought I lost something. I was like, no, I told Coach.
Wow. That's a great story. Right there. Okay, national tournament coming up. Would you guys have an idea where you think you're going to be seated?
I think anywhere from 3 through 6. Coach said it today. Like, I think we're definitely a dominant team, and I think that win from Mesa really secured for sure top 10. But I'm feeling pretty top 5 right now.
Wow. What do you guys think you do best?
I feel like we're great at. I mean, if the opponent scores, we get the ball out of the net and we just push. Like, we are shoving it down their throats as much as we can, just so we can get as much offensive as we can, like, in the entire game. We're strong inside rebounding. We got Rory, we got Kylie, and then even off the bench, like, our other beasts, our guards are great at rebounding. Like, everyone just wants to win, and I feel like our, like, perseverance through, even if we're losing or winning, like, we keep playing, and I feel like that's rare on a good team.
All right, for both of you, what's next? Do you have a place to go next season, a school picked out?
I think that's undecided on both parts. Okay. I'll let Roy take this one over. I'm definitely I'm going to continue the basketball career. Don't know where yet. I've kind of told Coach Todd, like, I want to wait a little bit after season to make the decision, because right now I'm focused on being an Aztec, and that's, like, my main goal. Like, I don't got to worry about next year just yet.
There you go. That's a great way to look at it. both of you, Rory and Annalise. Ladies, appreciate y'all taking a few minutes to join us. Congratulations on it's never easy to go up to Mesa and win, but you guys did it and did it well on Saturday night, and we look forward to seeing what the seeding is coming up and the national tournament ahead.
Thank you. Thank you.
Annalise Holdhouse and Rory Hoffmeyer from the Pima women's basketball team, Division II, Region 1 champions. They knocked off Mesa, the top seed in the tournament, 71-66 on Saturday night. The ladies have won 9 consecutive ball games to end the regular part of the year and into the region. They're 26-5, and they're headed back to the national tournament. DK on the sports tip. Much more coming up for you straight ahead. We want to hear your thoughts on what you heard Tommy say over the weekend. Golf, if you were out at Cologuard, call me about that. Want to hear your thoughts on Cologuard. We'll hear from the winner. Straight ahead, 520-848-1290. Dragon Ball is here right now. He's going to tell you everything that's happening in sports here in Southern Arizona and around the world.
Well, as you heard, Arizona Wildcats men's basketball regular season ended in a struggling contest against Kansas. The Jayhawks managed to go and take control late in the second half, despite Arizona's late run, where they traded the lead with Kansas back and forth a number of times. Regardless of the loss, Arizona still holds a top 4 seed in the Big 12 and will get the double bye going into this weekend's Big 12 tournament. Tommy Lloyd made sure to go ahead and credit his team for a job well done on that part of the year.
It's huge. I mean, well, listen, the main thing for me, after 2 days off, this and that, I'm just proud of our guys because, you have 16 other teams battling for that, and only 4 get it. And for us to take third, and we didn't have the easiest of years. And obviously Houston's the best team in our conference. Texas Tech's been unbelievable. For us to kind of be next on the ladder, shows something. Obviously you see how good Kansas is today, and Kansas didn't get third. So, I think that's a testament to our guys.
Again, Arizona will take on either UCF, Utah, or Kansas in the third round of the tournament this Thursday, with tip-off set for 9:30, the nightcap of the quarterfinals. And the NFL officially has opened up free agency, and the Cardinals managed to make a splash of their own. Head coach Jonathan Gannon reunites with former Eagles pass rushing star Josh Sweat as he agrees to a 4-year, $76.4 million contract. Collecting 2.5 sacks in the Super Bowl this past February, Sweat has reached at least 4 sacks in each of the last 6 seasons, and the Cardinals were desperate to get a pass rush upgrade. No player amassed over 5 last season. Elsewhere in the NFL, the big move made today came from the Seahawks. They managed to land former Vikings quarterback Sam Darnold, lucrative 3-year deal. This is worth over $100 million with $55 million guaranteed. After trading Geno Smith to Vegas earlier in the weekend, the Seahawks reunite Darnold with Clint Kubiak, who both spent time together for 2 years with the 49ers. And I'm David Amato with your 2020 Sports Update on Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. Oracle and McGee, collision occurred there. Heavy backups and restrictions southbound Oracle at McGee. Also collisions at Swan and 22nd Street. On your freeway, westbound I-10 near Alvernon. Backups and slowing there, and eastbound I-10 east of Orange Grove. 50 the overnight low, 76 and sunny tomorrow, and 81 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is sponsored by Bank of America. What if your business could see beyond what is and into what can be? Whether you're a local shop or global enterprise, Bank of America gives you access to a range of business solutions to help make every move matter. What would you like the power to do? Find out how at bankofamerica.com/bankingforbusiness.
Nobody covers your Cats like we do, with press conferences, coaches shows, and play-by-play.
Bounce pass, a Walker, slam it home.
We bring you all the stories, highlights, and analysis of your Arizona Wildcats. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. 6 model homes are now open to tour at Del Webb at Rockin' K. Here, life is about more than just beautiful homes. It's about the experiences waiting outside your front door at this new 55-plus active adult neighborhood. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
You know it. Your neighbors know it. And let's face it, the mailman knows it too. Your yard just isn't what it used to be. But thankfully, Dorado Rock Materials can get you, well, your yard anyway, back to what it once was, and even better. Dorado Rock Materials has just what your yard needs, from decorative rock to boulders and everything in between, brought right to you. And if you need help spreading it, we can help with that too. Dorado Rock and Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
It's the $10,000 quiz show. Okay, contestants, these are things that save you money. Ready? Here we go. It's Tucson's only place to save up to 40% on all your favorite tobacco products.
Tobacco Barn.
You pay no city or state sales tax because they're on
the Indian Reservation.
And save up to another $3 off with a coupon at
TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
Excellent. Now for the big savings. At Tobacco Barn, you'll save up to
40% off.
And because they're on the reservation, you pay no
city or state sales tax.
And at TobaccoBarnTucson.com, you get
a coupon up to $3 off.
What you are if you waste your money shopping somewhere else.
Crazy?
Nuts.
Stupid?
A few tacos short of a combo plate?
Whoa! Tobacco Barn, Tucson's most watched savings show. Nogales Highway, just south of Valencia. Check your local listings or TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
Sure do love this time of year.
Me too. People smiling at each other. Sun is shining.
Everybody singing those holiday songs.
Holiday songs?
We're talking about Alaska vacation season, right?
Yeah, but
there aren't any Alaska vacation songs. Oh, wait.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Like angels from the heavens.
Not even close to that.
But when Alaskan AC performs our exclusive Alaska vacation, it's primed and prepped for the coming summer heat.
And every Alaska vacation comes with our guarantee of no breakdowns all summer long.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Still no angels.
But people love singing it. Come on. If you want your AC to last...
No.
Do we have to sing?
Yes. All summer long with an Alaska
No.
Okay, but don't come crying to me if you Scrooges don't get anything from the Alaska Vacation Bunny.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
We are your home for all things Arizona basketball. 3 hours of pregame.
They're not going to finish the season 19-1, guys.
2 hours of postgame.
I guarantee you, Coach told the guys don't come over and help on him.
And all the action in between. Wildcats Radio 1290.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year, we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Your home for everything Arizona Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290, KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Around a screen from Toppin. Throw it back to Toppin. Shoots a three straight away. It's good.
Threes coming now from the best three-point shooting team from number of makes in Big 12 play. They've got 9 now.
21 points.
JT Toppin, he is your Big 12 Player of the Year. The awards just announced a little while ago. He's the second Texas Tech player to win this honor. Jarrett Culvert got it back in 2019. He's the only player who ranks in the Big 12 in the Big 12's top 3 in scoring at 18 a game, rebounding at 9 a game. JT Toppin, 14 double-doubles this season. He is your Big 12 Player of the Year. He's also your newcomer of the year in the Big 12. Other awards, Defensive Player of the Year, Joseph Tugler from Houston. I remember him more from dunking the basketball than playing defense, but there you go. Scholar Athlete, LJ Cryer from Houston. Freshman of the Year, VJ Edgecombe from Baylor.
That's 3 straight years.
Baylor's won that award?
Yep. 3 consecutive Freshman of the Year for Baylor.
Wow.
So someone's recruiting
Is there
over
something
there.
funny
Really
about
good.
that, Dragon Ball?
I just think it's funny that it's always the latest guy on the roster is always the best guy on Baylor's team.
They've been recruiting really well ever since that deep run they made finally.
Curtis Jones is your 6th man of the year from Iowa State. Most improved, Richie Saunders from BYU. Coach of the year, Kelvin Sampson from Houston.
Back-to-back for him, too.
Yeah. All Big 12 first team. Javon Small, who early on was probably the leader in the clubhouse for Player of the Year, but JT Toppin has just been on fire of late.
Yeah, I think West Virginia was, 7th?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, again, Javon Small's work, his body of work this year is certainly worthy of Player of the Year in the conference. And if you don't finish in the top 4 or 5, DK, among a 16-team league, that's a really tough ask. Unless you're putting up Kevin Durant-type numbers as a freshman, 25 and 11 or something like that.
Yeah.
Unless your numbers are outrageous, hard to get the MVP of your league without finishing among the top teams.
Darian Williams, Texas Tech, first team. JT, obviously, with the winner. Hunter Dickinson, Kansas. Curtis Jones, Iowa State. Jawan Roberts, Houston. LJ Cryer, Houston. Richie Saunders, BYU. Norchad O'Meara, Baylor. And Caleb Love from Arizona. That's the first team. Second team, 5 names. VJ Edgecombe from Baylor. Keyshawn Hall, Central Florida. I'm surprised he wasn't on the first team. Milos Usan from Houston. Joshua Jefferson from Iowa State. And Chance McMillan from Texas Tech. Third team, Joseph Tugler, Zeke Mayo from Kansas. Coleman Hawkins from Kansas State. Keyshawn Gilbert and Taman Lipsey from Iowa State.
You want the totals? So that's 4 for Iowa State, 4 for Houston. I mean, the 4 guys for Iowa State, I think, is pretty obvious because without those 4 guys, 4 guys really run that team. They finished second. Houston deserves 4. They won the league outright by a mile. So Houston and Iowa State, Texas Tech got 3, Baylor got 2, Kansas got 2, Arizona and BYU with 1 player on all 3. That's 20 players. So the first team is 10. Second and third are both 5. So 20 players selected on the first, second, and third teams. Arizona and BYU, 1 player each among the top 20.
Yeah. Honorable mention, Toby Awaka, Henry Vasar for the Arizona Wildcats. All defensive team, Jaden Quaintance, Arizona State. Juwan Roberts, Houston. Joseph Tugler, Houston. Taman Lipsey, Iowa State. Sincere Harris from West Virginia. I'm surprised. Are you surprised that KJ Lewis not on that list as one of the better defensive players?
Not really that surprised, considering the fact that KJ has had a couple of moments where he's been getting caught in jump. When you're fouling jump shooters, that I think tends to hurt some people's ability to vote for you for an all-defensive team. Particularly, it's just like, okay, no, you need to know that if a guy's in the air, you shouldn't be fouling him in the air on a jump shot. If you're fouling down low in the post, it's more understandable. People just throwing bodies back and forth. But KJ's been getting a little bit trigger happy, trying to get around screens and trying to clear out through guys rather than just to them. So I'm not totally surprised by that, but definitely more surprised that Toby Awaka didn't make the defensive team, considering that he's been a dominant force on the glass.
Right.
But I think it's mostly his offensive rebounding versus defensive rebounding that kind of made people say that, not really a defensive first teamer on that one.
The problem is the platooning, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, you're talking about KJ splitting time with Del Orso, Tobe splitting time with Vasar and Townsend at times. I think, Tobe Awaka, especially early in the year, DK, would play, 19, 20 minutes at most?
Yeah.
So he is 4th. He finished 4th in rebounding in the Big 12. 4th. 8.0 is his final tally for rebounds per game. Norchad, Hunter Dickinson, and JT Toppin are the only 3 guys averaging more rebounds than him. But again, I think because KJ split time with Del Orso, Tobe Awaka split time with the other 2 centers, that's a big probably reason why you're not seeing them represented, is just because they're not averaging 30, 32 minutes a game. The one guy you wonder maybe could have been Jaden Bradley, just because he did finish among the league leaders in steals per game. He's a very good on-ball defender, and he's a guy who averages 38 points a game. But like Dragon Ball said, it's not just KJ's times when he might have a player get over on him. The whole defense as a whole will have a game where they hold a team to 62 and then give up 95 a couple weeks later. So I just think it's the inconsistency overall from team defense, which is why you're not seeing individuals on these all-league defensive teams.
All freshman team, Jaden Quaintance, VJ Edgecombe, Robert Wright, both those guys from Baylor, Quaintance from ASU, Igor Demon from BYU, Christian Anderson from Texas Tech, and all newcomers, which primarily I guess is the new term for transfers. North Shadomere, Baylor, Keyshawn Hall, Central Florida, Joshua Jefferson, Iowa State, Zeke Mayo, Kansas, and JT Toppin from Texas Tech. So congratulations to all of those guys.
Same there with Carter. Carter averaged 18 minutes a game, 6.4 points per game is his season average for Carter Bryant. I think he definitely showed flashes as being as talented as any of those freshmen you just named. However, when you're talking about minutes played and really production is what they're talking about, the reason why you're going to get on one of those teams, he just didn't get as much minutes and get as many touches as some of those other guys who are asked to do a lot more for their teams.
And shout out LJ Cryer again, Scholar of the Year with a 3.73 GPA doing post-baccalaureate work in health. Congratulations, LJ. All right, Dragon Ball, we have not heard from you on the comments of one Tommy Lloyd this weekend. Well, what did you think when you heard what the coach had to say?
Man, Caleb Love, you need to go ahead and do better on your defense. You really need. See, that's the thing about this whole conversation that is so interesting to me is that you immediately can tell when people on social media don't like being coached hard. It's a situation of, look, Tommy's just saying that, hey, guys, we need to step up our attendance. We need to step up our noise. We need to step up our involvement in the games and things like that. It's Tommy's way of trying to make sure that the fan base stays on their toes and they don't get complacent thinking, oh, no, we're a loud crowd. We are one of the top crowds. We're the pinnacle of basketball on the West Coast and the college ranks. And think, no, never get complacent. Caleb Love last season was what? Pac-12 Player of the Year, right?
Right.
And it doesn't matter because he told Caleb going into the season, you need to be better on defense. You're going to play on this team again. If you're going to be back and you're going to be dedicated to finishing the year with the University of Arizona, you need to be better on defense. Never mind your shooting. Don't worry about your scoring. You're going to keep shooting whatever you want to shoot. Whether or not that's a good or bad thing has been between games. I mean, that's been a discussion I'm sure they've had. But regardless, it's just a matter of Tommy, I think, is just trying to make sure Arizona fans are relatively aware that, look, we're not the ultimate, basketball spot anymore that we were in the past conference. In the Pac-12, the McKale Center was probably the number 1A or 1B, depending on how you view Pauley Pavilion.
Do you know how many consecutive years Arizona led the Pac-12 in attendance?
It was
38 consecutive years.
And
38.
And that's this kind of level that McKale fans have become used to saying, no, we are the best fans in our conference. Now, Tommy's just saying that, hey, look, Fong Island Fieldhouse, that place was electric. Iowa State and Ames, that place was electric. And a couple other spots where he's been saying this for years. It didn't just come up this past Saturday. He's been saying this for years. So the fact that people want to go ahead and get upset about it, I understand that you would potentially view it as an insult, and I totally comprehend it. But at the same time, take it as a challenge. If you're going to go ahead and say, well, Tommy needs to go ahead and really check himself because this conversation or the way he said it was bad.
Real quick, I think the reason
yourself before you wreck yourself.
The main reason that
for your health.
Fans could be potentially upset is two reasons. Iowa State and Kansas, when Coach Lloyd came up to the dais and he was addressing the press, the very first thing out of his mouth for both of those post games was, what a great game. I wish McKale fans were better. Both those games.
Yes.
The very first thing out of his mouth. Not our team could have played better down the stretch or that first half we didn't have enough assists. That wasn't the first thought. The first thought was, wow, not congratulatory towards the Ames, Iowa fan base or the Lawrence, Kansas fan base, but rather, we got a great in Tucson, but our fans need to be better. Like that was the very first thing out of his mouth for both those post games in the last 2 weeks. And I don't take it personally, because I've gone to 500 games in McKale, and I've yelled my ass off every single one of them. My question to you, Dragon Ball, is if he's going to outreach on social media, what percentage of the fans who don't make noise in McKale do you think have, number one, ever owned a computer, and number two, ever been on social media in their entire lives?
The number three, how many of them have been to a McKale? How many of them have been able to get to McKale the past 2 seasons? I mean, who knows? It's hard. Again, it's hard to get to McKale now compared to where it has been in the past. But the other part about it is that the reason why I think Tommy opens it up by saying that is you always remember 2 things from press conferences typically. Remember the first thing somebody says, remember the last thing that they said before they leave. And again, it's not great that he goes ahead and says, I wish McKale was blank, I wish McKale was this. But at the same time, it's the first thing you hear and it's the first thing you take away.
My only point is it's not the fans that live around campus.
Yes.
It's not the fans who are in their 30s and 40s and taking their children to the game for the first time. It's the fans who live at River and Swan. No disrespect to
that's
present
my
company.
Don't be messing with my neighborhood now.
Who again aren't from Tucson.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know why people moved here? Because of respiratory health in the late 1800s, because the dry air. And you know how many people moved here from the East Coast? All of them. So the entire developing...
Less tuberculosis over here.
The population of Tucson is mostly transplants. And that's why McKale, at times, doesn't make noise outside of after a 10-0 run by the Arizona Wildcats. And that's why they make noise every second in Lawrence and in Ames, Iowa. Because, again, they're entrenched 10th-generation fans who've only ever known rooting for the Jayhawks and the Cyclones. And it's that simple. So there's no correct answer. There's no solution to this problem. Who are you going to outreach to? Who are we going to outreach to that has tickets to McKale that isn't making enough noise? Because that's Oro Valley, that's Rita Ranch, that's all of Sunrise, right? That's what we're talking about here.
It's not the folks that live in Cricket's neighborhood. Cricket is here with us. Cricket, so I have two questions for you. One, have you ever been to any type of event, whether it's a concert, whether it's a sporting event, whether it's one of your nieces or nephews' Little League deals where you screamed so loud you lost your voice?
I'm sure. Probably a concert, probably.
Yeah, do you remember what that concert was?
Probably all of them in the 80s. Probably all of them. And then,
were you just screaming or were you singing at these concerts?
Probably
you would go?
Probably both.
Okay.
And I whistle, like the loud, finger whistle.
You can put your fingers in your mouth and whistle. I can never do that.
And just And
wow.
So are we talking like Bowie or Warrant?
Like we're probably talking like I was never lucky enough to see David Bowie, but we're probably talking like Motley Crue,
right.
Poison,
Bon Jovi, yeah.
Who was your favorite Motley Crue guy?
I thought the drummer kind of carried the band, Tommy Lee.
Tommy Lee,
he's wacky.
Oh wow,
he's very fun to watch live.
Yeah.
I don't know if Dragon Ball's laughing at that comment.
Oh no, Tom. I know some of Tommy Lee's shenanigans. Yeah, I'm aware of it.
And that's odd for the drummer to kind of carry the band. He's very
he was the first
charismatic.
to do the deal where he goes over the crowd, like in his little setup where they would lift him up and take him out over the crowd. Yeah. That was a Tommy.
Oh, wow.
Tommy did that.
The only other band that I can think of with the drummer being the main thing is probably like Def Leppard, but that's probably for a different reason entirely.
So cool. That guy's different.
Right?
Oh yeah, man, that guy's amazing.
So did you ever lose any hearing at any of these?
Oh yeah, and all the time, the next day you'd wake up, 13 or 14, 15 years old, go to class. What? Huh? That ringing in the ear. Yeah, the ears are ringing. Yeah.
I still remember that I went to a Run DMC Beastie Boys LL Cool J rap concert in summer of '86 in Chicago, and I came home. My head rang for days.
Yeah, it is definitely.
Yeah, I think the loudest I ever was at Beastie Boys, not Public Enemy. It was House of Pain.
Nice.
Beastie Boys, and I'm trying to think of the third one. But yeah, that was like early 90s as well. That was probably the loudest show I've ever been to.
That is cool, man.
All right. So Motley Crue got Cricket to lose her voice.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody lately? Do you get crazy like that?
She gets crazy at those yacht rock events.
I go crazy, man, at the yacht rock shows.
The people at the yacht rock shows, they yell and scream. I think I lost my voice a little bit. I was singing so loud at the last one. So. All right, Cricket is here. A great day outside. We're trapped inside. Wish we could be out. We should probably just, we should do someday, just take the show to the parking lot. You think we can do? We can do that.
No.
We can just take the show to the parking lot and sit outside, get some tables and sit outside.
Only if we can get a basketball stanchion out there and we can do a 3-point shooting contest while we're doing the show.
Oh, cool.
Don't feed the animals.
No. Every time you've ever taken me out with you, DK, there's always been bad weather of some sort, it seems like. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll do the board and then you and JW can go out and do the stanchion.
We had Dragon Ball holding up the tent. I didn't even know he knew how to put that thing up.
I used to work in promotions. I knew what I'm doing.
He puts the tent up, and then we had to kind of hold it down because it was starting to blow away.
Yeah, because we had no sandbags.
Yeah, we had no sandbags.
Nobody brought sandbags?
I did not.
Well, you were the sandbag.
I didn't even think we were going to open that thing up. I was like, and he said, we should probably bring that thing. I was like,
it was starting to sprinkle. I don't want your laptop being covered in it.
So I was like, okay, next time we'll just bring a few sandbags so we can make sure that if we do open that thing up, we have something to hold it down with that's not named Dragon Ball. Yeah. All right. Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. With collisions that are reported at 22nd Street and Aviation Parkway, McGee and La Cholla, Oracle and El Conquistador Way, also Swan and 22nd Street. Some slowing on eastbound I-10 as you approach and pass Ina. And for your weather, 50 our overnight low, 76 sunny tomorrow and 82 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Arizona Lottery.
When you play the Arizona Lottery, there's always a chance you'll win big, but there's also a guarantee that you'll be giving back to the community. There's joy in it all. Love the play with scratchers, draw games, and more from the Arizona Lottery.
The jungle has moved afternoon, so grab your best Tucson tuxedo and join us on the Jim Rome Show weekdays from noon till 3 p.m. right here on the flagship home of your Arizona Wildcats, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
Sponsored by Armstrong Pharmaceuticals.
Protect your home and auto with a bundle from Progressive so you can stop worrying about them and invent new things to worry about, like snakes in your bedroom. Sure, that sounds incredibly irrational, but now that we've mentioned it, you are a little worried. The odds of one snake, let alone snakes plural, are so slim. But you might want to check. Oh, you're not near your bedroom. Guess you'll just have to sit there and worry about it. So let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Sample Rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Sure do love this time of year.
Me too. People smiling at each other. Sun is shining.
Everybody singing those holiday songs.
Holiday songs?
We're talking about Alaska vacation season, right?
Yeah, but
there aren't any Alaska vacation songs. Oh, wait.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Like angels from the heavens.
Not even close to that.
But when Alaskan AC performs our exclusive Alaska vacation, it's primed and prepped for the coming summer heat.
And every Alaska vacation comes with our guarantee of no breakdowns all summer long.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Still no angels.
But people love singing it. Come on. If you want your AC to last...
No.
Do we have to sing?
Yes. All summer long with an Alaska
No.
Okay, but don't come crying to me if you Scrooges don't get anything from the Alaska Vacation Bunny.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Proof Artisanal Pizza and Pasta, featuring delicious handcrafted pizza specialties like Polynesian pie, buffalo chicken, veggie pie, pesto chicken, baked potato, mushroom, and artichoke, just to name a few. Hungry yet? Try their handcrafted pastas, carbonara rustico, feelin' blue, chicken piccata, green machine. The list goes on. Proof offers pizza and pastas in gluten-free or vegan options. Want more? Proof's Artisanal Pizza and Pasta also has amazing entrees like salmon, mushroom risotto, lasagna, New York strip, and Chiopino. Lunch specials noon to 3 and happy hour every day from 3 to 6. Discounted drinks, savory apps, and you guessed it, pizza. Proof Artisanal Pizza and Pasta at the southeast corner of River and Campbell in the St. Philip's Plaza or online at prooftucson.com.
And this Friday, we have a sweet deal for you from Proof Artisanal Pizza and Pasta. You can get a $50 gift certificate for just $25. And this sweet deal will go on sale this Friday morning at 8:30 at WildcatsRadio1290.com.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet. We bring you all the news and stories of your Arizona Wildcats. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Wildcats Radio 1290 for the latest highlights and commentary. Your home for U of A athletics, Wildcats Radio 1290.
It's not a top 10 pick this year in the upcoming draft. Maybe it's not an issue with Shedeur Sanders at all. Maybe it's just that some people have an issue with his dad. I'm Carl Dukes.
This is the story of the one. He's responsible for keeping a leading healthcare facility clean and safe. And he trusts Grainger's high-quality HVAC cleaning and safety products, combined with their world-class supply chain, to consistently deliver, ensuring he's covered inside and out, so he can focus on keeping his facility clean to help protect the health of everyone inside. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Stephen Alker on the first playoff hole has this putt for birdie to win the Cologuard Classic. There you have it, Stephen Alker. Started the day 4 shots back. Shoots 66 in the final round and birdies the first hole of the playoff to defeat Jason Caron and win for the 9th time on the PGA Tour Champions.
Steve Alker is your champion at the Cologuard Classic. It was, again, another champion that we had not had before. You heard the man say his 9th win on the PGA Tour Champions. He was 4 shots back. He caught the leaders, I believe, on the 16th hole and won it with a birdie at 18. First time that tournament has ever gone to a playoff. Exciting day out there yesterday to see some of those. Greg Chalmers had the lead for most of the day, but then around 14, it got tight up. But there was at one point a 4-way tie at the top of the leaderboard, and then it emerged at the end. With 2 guys getting a chance to play in the playoff, and Steve Alker coming up on top. We had a chance to catch up with Steve Alker after his big win at the Cologuard Classic.
Ready? Okay, we're good. All right, Steven. Got another one under the belt. Conquistador helmet. Take me through what this one means to you.
Yeah, this is a special one. Obviously, you know, the mission, what it stands for, and to have Jerry and Carol Kelly as hosts, it is special. I just enjoy coming here. I come from New Zealand last week to come in. You saw me on Tuesday, like, oh my goodness. It took me a couple of days to get into the swing of things, but I feel good now. It's extra special.
Absolutely. What does it mean to have the person that you're playing in honor of this week? He's a survivor. Kind of just the fight that he had, resilience in the fight that you had coming down the stretch. Yeah,
well, my fight was nothing like that, but to meet Tim and see what he's gone through and see him, you know, as healthy as he is, it's just hope for all of us, right? And then so that was special. That was on my mind. I mean, there's no doubt. You see all the blue shirts around and everybody supporting. it's truly amazing.
Absolutely. And then having Tanya and Sky here, obviously Ben's back
Yeah.
at school, but having them here always
Yeah,
is smart.
it's been great. Sky just come down on Friday night, and just to have him here, it's extra special. You know, Tanya's birthday yesterday, and then just having it just keeps me calm. You know, it's just that calmness that comes over you, and to have your family here and just a bit of extra support.
What was it? What was it like being part of the first playoff of the Cologuard Classic, and what was going through your mind as you came up here?
Yeah, you know, we're just doing our stuff out there. We're just trying to hit the best shot we could. And I said to Al there with Golf Channel, I said, you know, I actually practiced that putt like 15-20 minutes before the playoff, and I just saw it and went in. So that was and to be the first, that's kind of extra cool. Yeah.
What about Greg Chalmers' play this week? Obviously, you guys are close, and he has showed a lot of good golf lately. So, thoughts on his game?
I mean, Greg's got all the tools. You know, he really has. I know he had a great shot here into 18, but he's a good player. He's gonna win. I mean, there's so many guys out here they're gonna win. They got the game. So, it's just being patient and hanging around.
What's the toughest thing about this course?
The toughest thing about this course is probably this week was kind of keeping it in the fairway, because it was very bouncy this week. We hadn't really played it like that so much. It was cool the first day and a little bit softer, but just giving yourself an opportunity from the fairway is the toughest thing. And then the greens, you know, you got a lot of slopes, and you got the hill, you got the foothills, and you just got to kind of read those slopes, you know. So I think those are a couple of the toughest things for sure.
Was there anything different about this round than the previous two?
No, slow start every day, and just grind my butt off on the back nine and go as hard as I can, because the front nine didn't treat me well at all. So I did it all on the back, and I got the back to thank for that, for sure.
And then what led to your strong finish before the playoff?
Well, I don't normally look at leaderboards, and I looked a few times in the back nine just to keep an eye on it, and thought, okay, let's go one more. So that was just my goal, just to keep getting one more and try and chase the guys down.
And he did do that. Steve Alker, your champion at the Cologuard Classic for the first time, shot a 69 in round one and back-to-back 66s to finish 12 under to comb a prize pot of $330,000 for his victory. Jason Caron, who he beat in the playoff, finished second, and then you had after that a group of guys. Rod Pampling, Greg Chalmers finished tied for third. They were both one shot back. Ernie Els was fifth at -10, and then Padraig Carrington, Alex Sajak, Reed Teef Goosen, and Ken Tanigawa were all in the -9 to -8 category there.
There's no caliche in New Zealand.
Caliche.
Yeah, that's why the fairways are a little hard out here.
Is that rain? Caliche is that?
No, caliche is it's basically thousands of years of heat onto clay, which is why it's so difficult to dig out here, is because of the caliche. Yeah.
There you go. A lot of local guys that were in this tournament. You talk about Ted Purdy. We had a chance to catch up with Ted Purdy on when we were out there on, was that Thursday or Friday we talked? I think it was Thursday. Thursday we talked to Ted Purdy, our first day out at the Cologuard Classic. He was in the minus territory for a large part of that tournament, but again, it got tougher out there with that win, as you heard him say, the winner. Steve Alker, yeah. And Ted Purdy finished even par for the tournament. Shot 68 in round one, 71 in round two, and finished with a 74. Had a chance to catch up with Ted as well to get his thoughts on his week in Tucson.
Yeah, Ted, just your thoughts on the weekend.
Oh, it's just a great, awareness for colon cancer, and great. Felt bad for the other people I played with because nobody was paying attention to them. But yeah, it was such a great week. I was able to finish top 40, which is big on for me, and in the big scheme of things, I would have liked to play better. But it was a big week and fun, and good to be around the fans. And Cologuard's a great sponsor and great awareness for colon cancer. My mom died of colon cancer, so it's extra special that they have this event. And yeah, just super fun.
Crazy how the weather got better, but the numbers got a little bit higher.
Yeah, well, they put the pins on the, over bunkers and on hills and in the corners, and then the wind still blew, so it was tough to get it close, and it was hard to, just like the first 2 days, hard to determine what club to hit. Anyway, just it's a challenging golf course. You miss it a little, and you're in trouble. So.
Was your mom on your heart a lot when you're out there this weekend?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I was trying to do great for her, and she was there for sure, watching me.
What was her influence on your career as a golfer?
Well, she taught me how to play golf. My dad was at work, and my mom, she was a 10 handicap in her own right, and I grew up on Moon Valley Country Club in Phoenix and Pine Top Country Club up in northern Arizona. So in the summers, my dad would be down in the valley working, and my mom would be playing golf with me. So, golf means a lot.
What was maybe the one best thing that she told you about the game and how to approach it?
Oh, she was so, don't make it too big of a deal and have fun, and it doesn't matter what you shoot. And yeah, I should have listened more.
Well, it's great to see you out here this weekend, Ted. Congratulations and good luck on future success.
Yeah, thanks for your support and thanks for interviewing me. Appreciate it.
Ted Purdy, Arizona All-American back in 1996, and great to see him back out there. Still calls Tucson home now, plays a member out at Tucson Country Club, and finished, like he said, in the top 40 this weekend. That was a really good showing for Ted Purdy this weekend.
Got to ask him next time you could talk to him about the changes out there at his home course.
Yeah, absolutely. See if he likes those. That would have been a great question. I should have definitely.
Well, no, I mean, there was a lot of questions about current events and about the actual tournament and the weather that you were getting into. But because he's a native and he's around town,
yeah,
DK, I'm curious because he's a professional, because he's an All-American from the University of Arizona. And I know that you've talked to those people about the changes they've made up there. I'm curious about his take on that.
Absolutely. We'll see if we can get that the next time we catch up with him for sure. We also chatted with Willie Wood. We'll hear from him coming up a little bit later. Kim Doss is going to join us in the 5 o'clock hour. We'll talk some Arizona women's basketball as well as Arizona softball. They lost their first Big 12 series of the season, losing 2 out of 3 to Central Florida at Hillenbrand Stadium. It was not a very good fundamental weekend for the ladies, although they did bring out the bats and avoided the sweep on Sunday.
They did it quick, too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they ruled them in like 2 innings for that third game.
It was quick. It was quick for sure. Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. With collisions that are reported at 22nd Street and Aviation Parkway, Swan and 22nd Street, Oracle and El Conquistador Way, also crash at McGee and La Cholla. 50, the overnight low, 76, sunny tomorrow, rain by Thursday with a 90% chance of showers Thursday. 82 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Arizona Lottery.
When you play the Arizona Lottery, there's always a chance you'll win big. But there's also a guarantee that you'll be giving back to the community. There's joy in it all. Love the play with scratchers, draw games, and more from the Arizona Lottery.
Let the postseason begin. Arizona's the number 3 seed at their first Big 12 tournament. Who U of A will play, we don't know, but we do know the Cats are going to be on the court Thursday night. Our coverage begins at 3 with Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Jim Rome takes on sports.
I've been doing this show for decades and decades and decades.
With rapid-fire takes.
Learn how to stop it, learn how to run it, or at least make a good argument. I don't even like to play. I've never fought so hard to defend something I don't like.
Scorching debates.
You can beef about anything you want. Why are you pushing me?
He's the Spitfire of sports smack.
Just so you all know, this is no one-off. This is what we're going to get every single day.
Let's go, Jim!
Let's go!
The Jim Rome Show podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Did you know collecting sports cards is one of the fastest growing hobbies around? Whether you're looking to start or expand your collection, Showtime Cards is your ultimate destination. As one of the leading card shops in the country, they've been serving our community for over 25 years with the best in sports cards and trading card games. From rare finds to the latest releases, Showtime Cards has it all. Check them out at ShowtimeCards.com or visit them today at 5801 East Speedway. And discover why collectors everywhere trust Showtime Cards for their passion.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Don't miss out on any of the action.
Touchdown, Arizona.
Holy smokes, this offense is explosive. As the University of Arizona takes on the Big 12 Conference.
Under pressure, and the ball is loose. The Cats have got it. Back to throw. Here comes the rush. Steps up in the pocket, rolling right. Fires the right. Got a man open. Nobody's going to catch him. 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Arizona.
You're listening to the flagship home of Arizona Wildcats Athletics. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Last year's over, and this team's moving forward.
You know it. Your neighbors know it. And let's face it, the mailman knows it too. Your yard just isn't what it used to be. But thankfully, Dorado Rock Materials can get you, well, your yard anyway, back to what it once was. And even better, Dorado Rock Materials has just what your yard needs, from decorative rock to boulders and everything in between, brought right to you. And if you need help spreading it, we can help with that too. Dorado Rock Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
Most plumbing problems start with a 4-letter word: drip, leak, clog. Whatever your plumbing problem might be, you can trust Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing to deliver fast, honest, and reliable service by a plumbing expert that will find the right solution for your plumbing problems. Call us at 520-492-0748 or picturoxcooling.com.
Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
This is Zach Gelb with the Sports Minute. Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin of the Pittsburgh Steelers traded a second-round pick to the Seattle Seahawks for wide receiver DK Metcalf, and the Steelers are giving DK a 5-year deal worth $150 million. Well done, Pittsburgh. However, teams like the New England Patriots and Los Angeles Chargers should be kicking themselves today, because I'm sure either Justin Herbert or Drake May would have loved to have seen their team trade for the talented wideout to significantly improve their wide receiving room. I'm Zach Gelb.
This is the story of the one. He's responsible for keeping a leading healthcare facility clean and safe. And he trusts Grainger's high-quality HVAC cleaning and safety products, combined with their world-class supply chain, to consistently deliver, ensuring he's covered inside and out, so he can focus on keeping his facility clean to help protect the health of everyone inside. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, cause you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Head on over to our Twitter account at Wildcats1290, and you can vote in our question of the day. Do you agree or disagree with Tommy Lloyd's comments after the Wildcats lost at Kansas about the environment at McKale Center, and that U of A fans have some work to do to meet the fandom levels that the U of A is seeing on their visits to other Big 12 hoops venues, excuse me.
You want to hear a sample of that environment while you clear your throat?
Let's hear something.
To Harrison, a new 20 to shoot. To Mayo. Boy, offensive rebounding here late. Lob. Adams slams it home with 1:21 to go.
Yeah, beautiful find there by Juwan Harris. The KJ man is high above the rim.
Is that the one he slammed on the back of Anthony Del Orso? And
that was the last one, the very last one.
He's like, I got no chance on that one right there. Right now, 79% of the folks, I mean, I've seen a lot of folks that have been angry about these comments, but right now, 79% of the folks in our poll are standing with Tommy Lloyd on this. Coach is spot on, they say. 21% of the folks saying no, don't agree. McKale is great with Tommy Lloyd. So interesting because a lot of what I saw over the last couple of days was people not real happy with the comments.
You know why they're not happy?
Why are they not?
Because they scream their throats out. The people who are unhappy with the commentary, what I'm saying, guys, is that there's a big, wide swath of different people that live in Tucson, Arizona. And to appeal to all of them, if you want to give a little placard to everybody who enters the building and say, when this happens, do this, when this happens, do this, I'm sure everybody would do the exact same thing. As it comes to right now, and honestly, Doug is a good expert on this, but the number of people who are painting their face and running around trying to get the people of McKale to make as much noise as humanly possible at all times are the people who are upset with that, DK. But they also agree with Tommy's sentiment. The sentiment being McKale could be louder and more rambunctious. That's their whole point.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's both being offended by the statement that McKale's not great and also agreeing that, yes, some of the people who don't stand up and cheer or even make ugly faces at people who do stand up and cheer around them, to be more specific, if we want to go back for the past 40 years of conversation, we've been having this conversation since the ticket prices went up in the early 90s. It's not a new conversation.
520-848-1290 is the number. Let's talk to T Money. You're on DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Gentlemen, great show. I think it's possible for multiple things to be absolutely true at the same time. What Tommy's saying is not wrong. I mean, in the state of Kansas, the most important building is Fog Allen Fieldhouse. It's not in Topeka. It's not in Wichita. It's there in Lawrence. And the same thing in the state of Iowa. Iowa's football stadium in Des Moines and Hilton and Ames are the two most important buildings in those states. And it is generational, where you do have the agricultural societies that go with the seasons, and the seasons are basketball and football. So that being said, I do disagree, though, that the only parts of the population in Tucson that should be are at McKale or living on River and Swan. I would say that the U of A could do better outreach to the old school east side, the urban core, south side, Sean Elliott's old hood, the west side, where you have different parts of the fan base that could get access somehow, right?
Interesting. Yeah. I think I think it's going to be, I don't know. I remember at the end of the Dave Hickey era, kind of in the middle, that was when they kind of really started doing a little bit more outreach, holding events down on the south side. But yeah, I mean, again, I think there's some other parts of the community that you need to bring in, like you mentioned, the west side, far east side, where you can get out and maybe try to have more events where you can generate new fans that maybe have an opportunity to try to get out and you can always, I mean, again, I know that there's, you're trying to sell all your seats, but I think there's also the opportunity maybe, and we talked about it earlier in terms of maybe you create a section that or where you can put more students, but that's a section maybe that you say, okay, we want our corporate sponsors to buy those tickets, but we're going to put students in those seats. It's very similar to what they do at the NCAA tournament, where they have certain sections where, corporate sponsors pay for the tickets, but there's students sitting there.
You know what's ironic about all this, and T-Money knows this, is that Fog Allen Fieldhouse has the same reputation as Pauley Pavilion in that it's a bunch of old people come late who've had tickets forever and don't really get into the game. Now, what did we experience this last game out? A number 1 preseason ranked team with 9 conference losses playing their last home game for senior night. So the atmosphere in Fog Allen that particular day is not the same as it was in November for a random game. So that was a different atmosphere.
Which brings me to another point, though, where the Big 12 did seed the season to favor itself, right? So Kansas holds the banner for the Big 12. And so Kansas does not have a home-and-home with Arizona. They have one home game, and that's played at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, Arizona has a plethora of piñatas at 9 o'clock.
Right.
And so now I'm talking about the working man. I'm talking about the guys who will go in there and make noise. Shout out Mike Gabrielson back in the day. The people that will make noise. But you can't. Why? Because you have your third grader that has to go to school the next day, and you can't take him with you. Or getting to McKale. Like, luckily, I have family in the Sam Hughes area. You can park there and make the traditional walk. However, everybody's like, man, I don't want to try to do that, you know. So making it accessible to the people who can show up and blow up is the smart thing to do. Now, I get it. There are the blue hairs there in Lawrence, but I didn't hear those blue hairs on Saturday. That's for sure.
That's a great point on T-Money about that was one of the reasons, Kelvin Ifan, earlier this year couldn't take his son to a game because it started at 9 o'clock. It was too late. He's like, I can't have my son out till 11:30 when he's got to get up and go to school the next day on a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night. So, that is obviously an issue as well. T-Money, we appreciate your call. We got a jam-packed bank of folks we want to try to get to. Let's hear from John. You're on DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
It's interesting. One of the things that would be very helpful is if there was a tram that ran out to Silver Bell and Houghton and maybe ran up north to Oro Valley, something that could get back into the center of town conveniently. Phoenix offers things like that, and it is hard to get around logistically. I'm 6'4", so I've been told multiple times at games to sit down. So for me, it's not very attractive to go to the basketball games because I don't feel comfortable there. If I'm getting up and I'm cheering, I'm standing, and I'm asked to sit down, I respect that, but at the same time, you shouldn't be told to do that at a basketball game when you're supporting your team. So, between that and, obviously with the budget crunch of the athletic department, what did they have to do? They have to raise ticket prices. If you want to be a season ticket holder, now you've got to buy whatever, the licensing and the this and the that. And you're getting gouged every chance you get. And, for a lot of people, for me, every game, ESPN Plus is going to pay in the butt this year. I'll admit that. But every game being right there on my TV, I'm on my couch, I'm in a comfort, I don't have to worry about blocking anybody's views. It's not that attractive for me to go to the games. Football offers a little bit more of wide open spaces for me, but it's interesting from that perspective. I can see some of the complaints, especially with the late games that people have. With that said, this conference, you hit the nail on the head. It's a lot of college towns, and that's all they have is the same as Texas Tech. That's what they have to support locally.
Yeah.
And Arizona's a big ticket. When Arizona's coming to town for the first time, that's a big ticket for any school that's looking to sell out an arena.
It's interesting, and I've talked about this in the past. How, especially on the professional level, where in the NBA, where you're starting to get away from a lot of these arenas are adding areas where people can stand and watch the game, and I think that might also create a different type of fandom. I mean, it's an old building, and I'll go back to what I said last year. It's an old building. There's not a lot you can do with McKale Center. You could go in and try to recreate it but maybe are you better off trying to build something that's more modern, create open spaces, like you said, where people can stand and watch. If you're 6'4", I don't have to be tied to a seat if I don't want to. I can go to this area and I still got a good view, and I can watch the game, and I can socialize with my people, and we can kind of group cheer and that kind of thing. I mean, those are the types of things. Me and my wife, I mean, and I'm in my mid-50s. We have gotten away from going to games and sitting down. We don't really do that anymore. When we go home to watch the Tribe, we are always buying our tickets in the open area where we can stand up or where we've got one of those counters in front of us and we can socialize and watch the games. And that's kind of what we do now. I mean, it's like last year we went to a game in Philadelphia and all our relatives were like, well, don't you want to get seats? It's like, no, that's not what we do anymore.
I just think it's a really simple equation. You're either trying to make as much money as possible or you're trying to get as best in atmosphere as possible. And if you're trying to get as best in atmosphere as possible, guys, you don't tell the 6'4" guy standing next to you and cheering to sit down and be quiet. And that's a sentiment that's gone on in McKale for a long time. And John knows this. I mean, this is not something new. There are elements and spaces in McKale where if you get up and you cheer for a big play that Arizona made, or try to cheer them on a run when they're falling behind and not playing well, which is what Coach Lloyd is talking about. You hear in other buildings, some of the people sitting around you are curious as to why you're standing and making so much noise, because they're not there to give the best atmosphere to McKale. They're there because they bought parking tickets and they're part of the Wildcat Club and all of that. So it's just one of the other.
Go on this note, I went to the UCLA game this year in Phoenix. And I've got a little bit of a special needs uncle, so we were actually able to secure handicap seating. And we had, I mean, it was wide open spaces in front of us. And it was amazing. Like about 8 years ago, they reconstructed McKale to pack about another 500 seats in that. And when they did, I mean, it's almost impossible for me to sit anywhere first 20 rows where I'm not either obstructing somebody's view or my knees aren't in the back of somebody's head. And I respect that because we have to get as much money in there as we can, but it deters me from going. But, you know, and I'm loud, man. I'll get a U of A chant started, but I don't go to the games because the comfort is not worth – I'm not getting enough value, and I'm not getting enough out of the money of the tickets for the experience for me.
John, we appreciate your call. Thank you so much. DK on the sports tip. Dragon Ball is here. He's getting you home. Everything happening in sports here in Central Arizona and around the world.
Well, focusing on the Diamond, here in Tucson, it was a strong week for Arizona baseball team as they came away with a complete 4-game sweep thanks to big games from their stars, including Garen Caulfield in the series finale.
And Garen Caulfield rips this one out to deep right center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Runs are going to score here as Caulfield rounds second. It's going to be a 3-run triple for the senior, and Arizona's got the lead.
Again, 4 straight wins over Pepperdine, which the University of Arizona Wildcats baseball Twitter, I believe, called, instead of a sweep, it was a mop. So they went ahead and now will go and called it a mop, a 4-game sweep. I'm not sure. It was on their Twitter.
Right.
But they now turn their attention to Arizona State tomorrow, and they'll go with a red out at High Corbett to take on the Sun Devils there in a non-Big 12 conference game. Again, the softball team managed to avoid being swept over the weekend thanks to a win on Sunday for Military Appreciation Day against UCF. They run-ruled the Knights with a 10-run performance, but the hits kept coming today as they dominated Utah State in the one-off game against the Aggies.
And 8 home runs has Emmeline Brinka as that one's drilled down the line in left field, and that ball is out of here. A leadoff solo home run for Dakota Kennedy. Her second home run in as many games. She led off yesterday's first inning with a home run, and she leaves the yard here to begin the offensive on-put for the Wildcats in the bottom of the first.
Again, shutting out Utah State in 6 innings. The Wildcats get another Big 12 series this weekend against the Utah Utes coming to town starting on Friday at 6 p.m. And other major news in the major leagues right now, Garrett Cole officially done for the season.
Wow.
They are going to be putting him under season-ending Tommy John surgery after having initial concerns about his right elbow. Again, Garrett Cole, his 34-year-old, was complaining about soreness after allowing 6 earned runs in 2 2/3 inning in his spring outing on March 6th.
All right, Marcus Stroman, you're up.
All right. And that is your 2020 sports update here for Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the Auto Nation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With some light slowing on eastbound I-10 approaching the Ajo-Kino connection, and also westbound I-10 approaching Ruthroff. And we'll see road work tonight on golf links in Alvernon at the Aviation Parkway exits. Crews will work from 8 tonight till 6 the following morning. And I'm Cricket, and your weather, 50 the overnight low, 76 sunny tomorrow, 82 now. And that's your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Wish you could save on home insurance? With Allstate, you could easily save and get quality protection. Yep, it's a win-win. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
One day while motoring around free and easy and listening to his favorite radio station, Bob heard all about it. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, advertising affordable tires and no hidden extras. Jack Furrier's one low price included valve stems and the other critical tire thingies that cost additional elsewhere, but not at Jack Furrier's. This was music to Bob's ears, as he knows to never underestimate the importance of thingies. Such a shame that not every tire dealer advertises total tire prices, he thought. But with this knowledge, I can do better. As synchronicity and predictable cliches would have it, yes, you guessed it. At that moment, Bob spotted one of Jack Furrier's 14 convenient locations. With no hesitation and great acceleration, Bob claimed his new set of quite affordable steel-belted radials, installed for one low price at Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Thingies included.
Do better like Bob at Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, the locals' choice for affordable tires and quality auto repair. Jack Furrier's, since 1960, here to get you there.
Don't miss out on any of the action as the University of Arizona takes on the Big 12 Conference.
Throw it for Lewis, and KJ slams it home for 2. Timeout.
You're listening to the flagship home of Arizona Wildcats athletics. Wildcats Radio 1290.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Marco! Polo! Marco! Polo!
In a giant pool of business competitors, don't be the one left unseen and out of reach. If you're a business owner and need help with your online presence, let's make it happen. Introducing Cumulus Boost. Boost your website. Boost your findability. Boost your reputation. Boost your business.
Marco?
Yes, I'm Marco.
Get a boost, get found, get on the map. Contact us today at cumulusboost.com.
It's the $10,000 quiz show. Okay, contestants, these are things that save you money. Ready? Here we go. It's Tucson's only place to save up to 40% on all your favorite tobacco products.
Tobacco Barn.
You pay no city or state sales tax because they're on
the Indian Reservation.
And save up to another $3 off with a coupon at
TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
Excellent. Now for the big savings. At Tobacco Barn, you'll save up to
40% off.
And because they're on the reservation, you pay no
city or state sales tax.
And at TobaccoBarnTucson.com, you get
a coupon up to $3 off.
What you are if you waste your money shopping somewhere else.
Crazy?
Nuts.
Stupid?
A few tacos short of a combo plate?
Wow! Tobacco Barn, Tucson's most watched savings show. Nogales Highway, just south of Valencia. Check your local listings or TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
We are your home for all things Arizona basketball. 3 hours of pregame.
They're not going to finish the season 19-1, guys.
2 hours of postgame.
I guarantee you, Coach told the guys don't come over and help on him.
And all the action in between. Wildcats Radio 1290.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus Media station. your home for the National Football League, starting with the Hall of Fame game through the regular season into the playoffs and ending in the Super Bowl. Wildcats Radio, 1290.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, hour number 3 of our program. We're going to talk some Arizona women's athletics with Kim Doss coming up here later in the hour, so join us for that. We'll also have your Desert Diamond Casino replay going on. Softball did win today against Utah State, as you heard Dragon Ball say there. Baseball swept Pepperdine over the weekend. Gym Cats won. There was a lot of winning, except for the men's basketball team. They did not win at Kansas. They will be the number 3 seed in the Big 12 tournament. So they'll play Thursday, 6:30, and they're going to be in the backside of the bracket. So they'll get 6:30 games on both Thursday night and Friday if they make the semifinal on Friday. And then I believe the Saturday game, or the championship game, is at 5 on Saturday. So those are your tip times. Our coverage will begin at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Thursday with Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day with an opponent to be determined. 520-848-1290 is the number. Before we head back to the phones, let's dive into our BetMGM play of the day. Oh, Fred, you kill me every time. And your BetMGM play of the day is brought to you locally by Oral Ford at 3950 West Highway 77 in Oracle.
Houston hosts Orlando tonight. I'm Joe Ostrowski here to help you beat the books with the BetMGM Network. Injuries this story with Amen Thompson out and Fred VanVleet questionable for the Rockets. The Magic are 9-20 without Jalen Suggs, but they did pull off an upset in Milwaukee over the weekend. Still have Houston -4.5 as to play. I'm Joe Ostrowski from the BetMGM Network. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetMGM app today. Please gamble responsibly.
It's Truck Month at Oro Ford, and the savings are huge. Get $11,000 off MSRP on new 24 Ford F-150s. Or take $13,000 off MSRP on a new 25 Ford Expedition. Want adventure? Drive home a new 24 Ford Bronco with $6,000 off MSRP. And here's the best part. Oro Ford is an easy drive from anywhere in Tucson, and you'll pay 2% less in taxes. Only at Oro Ford. Oro Ford, where Tucson saves on trucks. Restrictions may apply. See Oro Ford for details.
All right, so you have the Rockets minus, it's now 5, the line over at the Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook. 5, Rockets -5 over the Magic. So, and that is sitting at -107. So your $12.90 bet will win you $12.13. We are killing it, guys. We are killing it. We won again on Friday night with the Clippers -7 over the Knicks. The Clippers won that game by 10 points. So we got up and picked up another $11.35 there. We're 18-7 in our last 25 bets, plus $115 over that stretch. So we've gone from in the hole almost $70 to being up $45 right now. So we're liking it.
I think NBA is a little more predictable than college.
You think?
Oh, yeah.
And we even have an early future for you in the National Football League. How about this one? Puka Nacua for Offensive Player of the Year next year. Might be a little bit of a stretch. He won't have Kenny Pickett throwing to him.
He won't have Kenny Pickett. He'll have Matt Stafford still throwing to him there in Los Angeles. I'm intrigued because of the inclusion of Devontae Adams in that offense and what that will do for for Puka moving forward.
There you go. So Puka Nacua, we don't have any line on that yet. That was one they gave us, but it's not official until I can actually see a line on it at the Desert Diamond Casino Hotel, and I have not seen one just yet. All right, so Rockets -5 over the Magic, -107 at the book right now, $12.90 to win you $12.13. That is your top play, brought to you by BetMGM Network and locally here in Southern Arizona by Oral Ford at 3950 West Highway 77 in Oracle. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Let's go back to the phones and hear from Rick. You're on DK the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hey, guys. Thanks. So I've been going to the Cats games since about 85. I'm a U of A alum, so I've been there and seen a lot since the Coach O era, and I'm a big supporter of Coach Lloyd, and I'm going to tell you something. I'll be honest. I've heard him on a couple occasions this year on his post game remarks talking about, the people are talking about the next game coming up, and it's going to be a late one at 9. And I've noticed a couple of times he just takes for granted and assumes, hey, I don't care what time it is, be there, pack it in. And I appreciate where he's coming from because, we're a big advantage when we're rocking. But I think he's a little bit in a bubble where he's got to remember he's getting paid to show up, and we're having to pay to show up. So there's a little bit different dynamic going on there. And 9 o'clock, I got to tell you, I was at that 9 o'clock game, and, I wasn't happy about it because I got to get him to go to work. And I talked to a few people around me, and they feel the same. We were talking about it. I was trying to get the feeling of some other fans, people I know there. And, it was kind of ironic, we were thinking, hey, we're going to the Big 12, and now we're going to get better game times. And lo and behold, we're still getting the short end of the stick.
Yeah. And, the reality of that is, Rick, is that even though we are in a different conference, they still need to fill those blocks on the West Coast, and Arizona is probably one of the best programs to get viewers in those time slots. So yeah, it seems like we had more late games this year than we did last year. I think it was only one more. I counted them up. I think we had one more game that started after 8 o'clock this year than we did last year.
No, and I agree with you, and I do understand that. But at the same time, you got to appreciate the fact that the fans are there. It's quite a commitment to get in there as it is, and to compare, and I saw Coach Lloyd's last presser, and he was inferring. He was actually comparing Kansas 2 p.m. last game of the year to our 9 p.m. game, and inferring that. I'm just like, give me a break, man. Are you serious? I was at a lot of games this year where it was deafening. It just depends on who's playing, and the time does matter. It absolutely matters. If it's an afternoon or early evening game, that place is rocking. Those late games, it's a tough call, man. And I get a little irritated. I got to believe our AD and our president and and Lloyd have to have a little bit of pull and go, hey, guys, look. Enough's enough. Give us, and ESPN. Somebody's got to go to bat for us. And I just feel like we're just taking whatever. I don't know any more than anyone who's not there, but I just feel like we're kind of being taken for granted. And when I hear Coach Lloyd's remarks, it kind of ticked me off. I'm not kidding. I'm like, son of a gun, man. It's like we're in alternate universes when it comes to that.
And
so that's my thoughts on it.
It has so much to do with the opponent, right? Because if you think about the Houston game, that was a top 6 Houston team that came in. That was a noon tip. The next game was against unranked BYU, was at 8 p.m. And the final two games, the home games, were Utah and Arizona State. Arizona State and Utah, both among the top lowest 5 teams in the Big 12 standings. So the way those time slots work is if it's 2 top 10 ranked teams, you play in primetime East Coast. If one of the teams is a top 25 team and the other team is an under 500 team, you get a worse time slot. So it's really a matter of how the schedule panned out with BYU and Utah being the last 2 teams other than Arizona State in the building. And that's why you saw those late tip times in McKale. So, if Arizona State had 25 wins and came in for that Territorial Cup game, guess what? That would have been a primetime game. Sure. Yeah.
Sure. And Texas Tech was a big one also. I'm just talking, but what I'm saying is Coach is saying, we got some work to do. It's like, do you remember how loud it was against Texas Tech this year and against Houston and Baylor and even TCU because they were the first Big 12 game of our career? They were, and then, of course, Duke. It gets as loud in our place as anywhere. It just depends. You can't do a blanket statement about it.
Yeah, I think those of us, Rick, I've been around as long as you have around the program, and those of us who have been around so long and have been at games in the 80s, 90s, and beyond, when you hear the coach come out and the very first thing he says is, I wish McKale was better, as opposed to whatever. It's an unnecessary jab at fans and McKale after a 9 p.m. tip, was it, ASU?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, again, I think
I got home at 12:30.
Yeah, there you go. So I think the only qualms a lot of fans have with that statement was that it was the first statement out of his mouth and that it was unnecessary, an unnecessary jab at McKale. You can just say, wow, Fog Allen never played here before. What a great atmosphere. What a great environment. And these fans really love their program.
Yeah. And,
you could just say that.
And I can dig it. I can dig that. But, give us the love too, man. Give us the love. If Kansas had been here at 2:00, I guarantee it'd have been just as crazy as it was there.
Absolutely. Rick K., we appreciate it. Thank you for your call.
Thanks, brother.
All right, let's get Bill in real quick before we head to break. Bill, you're on DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Well, thanks for taking the call. I kind of have a different approach on this. I've been around a little bit, and like everybody else. And the first thing that I think has to be understood that basketball in Arizona is the primary revenue-producing sport, so it supports other programs. I don't like the idea that they minimize the student sectional, but I understand it, but I don't like it because they need it for the money. Now, I actually years ago had a discussion on this subject with Livengood when he was AD. And I actually feel the same way that Lloyd was. But I've been fortunate in my life that I'm a college ball junkie, and I've been to a lot of places. And one thing, not segue, but your comment early on about Fog Allen, not time limit. Fog Allen is always packed. I've been there 50 times at least. I've been in McKale, gosh knows how many times. And the thing about, so I just disagree with that comment. But the thing about, I think what you need, you have to be candid about this. And I'm 67 years old, and I was saying this 12, 15, 20 years ago when I was at McKale. I had a discussion, don't remember when Livengood left, but he was sitting a few rows behind me, and I brought it up because there was a thing about, empty seats and whatever. And I mentioned, I said, do you guys get hooked up with some schools or something, or some programs, youth programs that can bring some kids in here that don't have the ability to get here? Because I was thinking of the noise. Youth will bring the noise. And like it or not, that's why I mentioned my age, McKale's overall population in there, overall attendance, is an older crowd. It's just fact of the matter.
Yeah.
I don't have anything against it. It's the number one game in town. It has been forever, and that is the place to go. But the thing is that there are many reasons, and the other comment about when Arizona comes to town, people show up. Arizona's a great program, but that's not, when you're in the Big 12 or even, it's not the case really, but that's coming from a true basketball standpoint, not all the time. Arizona's the number one team I choose for, but they're not the biggest games sometimes that you play, especially when you have histories with other schools. And the point of it is, I guess I'll risk of being redundant, is the youth makes noise. And unless they can be able to segue some of those tickets to some other, be it the kids at the school, because as you probably know, you got to get in a lottery program if you're a student there to get to go to a game. And you may go 4 or 5 years and not get to a game if you don't get picked.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I really don't care for that. I'm one of those guys that I'll get some tickets and go, regardless of whatever, be it I bought season tickets, I bought game tickets, whatever the case is. But from the Plester in Philly down to Cameron, I've been to a lot of them. And I've been to McKale. So I have great stories, Lute Olson years, Miller years, all that stuff. And but I really think because of the revenue is the big thing. And it's a shame, but it's just because Arizona is that revenue-producing sport for the other sports. And when you get ESPN, regardless of the time slot, regardless of anything, that is more money. TV contracts, TV money is great money for that school. That's big time. And so they really need to have it. So you've let me say my piece, and I do appreciate it. So you guys have a great night and all that good stuff, and I'll be listening.
Thank you, Bill. Great stuff as well. He even threw in a Palestra right there. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I love it.
He knows his audience.
There we go. Cricket's getting you home. We're going to talk to Kim Doss next. Cricket's getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic. Speedway near Tucson Boulevard, a collision on Speedway to the east of Tucson Boulevard, and also nighttime road work on Golf Links in Alvernon at the Aviation Parkway exits. Crews will work from 8 tonight until 6 tomorrow morning. 50 the overnight low, sunny, 76 tomorrow. Very good chance of rain by Thursday, a 90% chance of showers Thursday. 80 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Eat Lux your way with the new $5 Classic, $7 Supreme, and $9 Discovery Lux Craving Boxes from Taco Bell at participating stores for a limited time only. While supplies last, price of participation varies. Drinks excludes freezes. Tax extra.
Did you miss the big game?
They need a 3 to get to overtime.
You know we got you covered.
Midcourt, shot is up. Good! Love has hit a 3. We're going to overtime.
Trying to keep it close, and you never give up. I guess that's life in the Big 12.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
One day, while motoring around free and easy and listening to his favorite radio station, Bob heard all about it. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, advertising affordable tires and no hidden extras. Jack Furrier's one low price included valve stems and the other critical tire thingies that cost additional elsewhere, but not at Jack Furrier's. This was music to Bob's ears, as he knows to never underestimate the importance of thingies. Such a shame that not every tire dealer advertises total tire prices, he thought. But with this knowledge, I can do better. As synchronicity and predictable cliches would have it, yes, you guessed it. At that moment, Bob spotted one of Jack Furrier's 14 convenient locations. With no hesitation and great acceleration, Bob claimed his new set of quite affordable steel-belted radials, installed for one low price at Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Thingies included.
Do better like Bob at Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, the locals' choice for affordable tires and quality auto repair. Jack Furrier's, since 1960, here to get you there.
If you can't be at the game, then you should be at Dave & Buster's. It's the best place to eat, watch, drink, and play. Watch your favorite team throughout the entire tournament. Take a walk on the $1 Million Midway where you can play the biggest and newest arcade games. So when your day calls for some winning, it's time for Dave & Buster's. Watch all the sports you want. They have massive HD TVs, a chef-crafted menu, and an incredible list of beers, wines, and cocktails. So remember, if your day calls for a little victory, a little triumph, a little win, it's probably calling for Dave & Buster's.
Progressive Home Quote Explorer lets you easily compare rates, so shopping for insurance might be the easiest part of owning a home. Definitely easier than this.
Psst, honey. Honey! What? Shh, there's a salesman walking up the driveway.
Oh no, he's got a clipboard.
What do we do?
Get down.
Down?
On the floor, you...
Shoot, did he see us?
Why are you breathing so loud?
Home ownership isn't easy, but with Progressive's Home Quote Explorer, shopping for home insurance is. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
There are lots of reasons to get excited for spring. Warmer weather, get-togethers, and now new spring arrivals from your favorite brands at Macy's. Even more exciting, refresh your beauty routine at our Buy More, Save More event. Pick up new skincare, makeup, and fragrances from Estee Lauder, Valentino, MAC, and more. And save $30 with every $150 you spend. The more you spend, the more you save. Don't wait. Beauty deals this good won't last long. Hurry into Macy's today. Savings off regular price beauty and fragrance. Exclusions apply.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Hey, it's DK on the Sports Tip. Don't miss a minute of the best Arizona Wildcats coverage in town. Tell your Alexa device to play Wildcats Radio 1290. This is your home of Arizona football, men's basketball, and baseball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Westwood One presents Today in Women's Sports. The South Carolina Gamecocks basketball team has won the SEC tournament for a third consecutive year. The Gamecocks defeated the country's #1 overall seeded Texas Longhorns yesterday, 64-45, securing their 9th conference title in 11 years under head coach Dawn Staley. As they've done all season, South Carolina dominated with defense. They held the Longhorns to just 16 first-half points and forced 18 turnovers. They also locked down SEC Player of the Year Madison Booker, holding her scoreless until just before halftime. As Staley's group looks to repeat as national champions, this was an important step along the way.
When you win this tournament and you play the schedule that we played, I do think we're the #1 overall seed. No matter what it ends up being, I am going to go down fighting for what our team earned.
With Today in Women's Sports, I'm Maggie Gray on Westwood One.
Hi, it's me, your USPS Ground Advantage shipment. Just left the warehouse and hitting the road.
I know. Just got the notification.
Great. Smooth sailing so far. I'm almost there.
Yes, I know. I get all the updates.
Made it. Safe and sound.
I know.
Well, did you know I was with USPS the whole time?
Oh, yeah. I know.
Keep your business in the know with the USPS Ground Advantage service. Visit USPS.com/in-the-know.
Greg is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Hi, I'm Greg. I'm not an actor. I'm just a regular person. 8 years ago, I just didn't feel like I was on my game. I started taking Prevagen, and I want people to know that Prevagen has worked for me. Give it a try. I want it to help you just like it has helped me.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
It's the Wildcat Hour, which means it's time for our Arizona Insiders. Each weekday, Wildcats Radio 1290 brings you all the latest news and opinions of U of A football, basketball, and the Big 12. So bear down, Wildcat Nation, and let's talk Arizona football basketball. Our Arizona Insiders are brought to you by Coors Light, an official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics. Coors Light, choose chill.
All right, lots happening on the women's side of Arizona Athletics. Cats got another win over the weekend. They finished second overall in the Big 12, first year behind the champions from Utah. The Arizona women's basketball team played just one game in Kansas City. They are putting their resume together. I think I saw a graphic today of what all of that entails. Softball shockingly loses 2 out of 3 to Central Florida this past weekend. Let's talk about all of that with Kim Das, who is back now from Kansas City, where she was covering the Big 12 women's basketball tournament. Kim, a fan of the fact that she no longer has to go to Las Vegas to cover these events. How was the event in Kansas City, Kim?
It was fantastic, from both the media side and how it was run for us, and I had family there. From their side, they really enjoyed it. Now, when K-State was not playing, it was not as well attended. That's just a fact of life. But otherwise, it was such an easy tournament, very well run. Everyone is super nice. I loved it.
There you go. That's what it's all about, is to have a chance to go and cover these events and see how different conferences do them, and to see how the things play out on the floor. And it was, I guess, no surprise the top two teams in the conference made it to the final, and it was kind of a who's who of former Arizona Wildcats in that championship game, with Erin Advanale on the Baylor side of it. She had the big performance. I believe it was in the semifinals where she scored 39 points, and then Maddie Connor on the champion TCU U squad. What were your thoughts on that final game and TCU closing it out to be both the regular season and the conference tournament champion?
Good game. I think it helps to have money because I think Van Lith made a huge difference for them this year. They had Connor and Sedona Prince last year, although Prince eventually went out with injury, and they weren't the same team. When you put someone of Van Lith's quality in there, it just elevates everything. And I think that was the difference, really. And as far as Nettie, Ernest Vonleh, I think Arizona could have used her for a few years, the last few years. I think she's a great player. She's been at 3 schools. She knows how things work, and she went out there and performed like she's capable.
Yeah, I mean, just 20 points in the final for her. Maddie Connor had 11 points in the final, hit a couple of 3-point shots. We also got a chance, I believe Giselle Sanchez was playing for Kansas State, so another former player was there. Wildcats, though, lose to Colorado. So the question, I guess, becomes now, what's going to happen for this team? I know that, like I mentioned at the top, they put their resume together to show why they deserve to be in the NCAA tournament. The question is, and do you believe, Kim, that the committee is going to see it the same way?
No, I don't. I think those 2 quad 3 losses to GCU and NAU hurt. I mean, I know they've got, at least GCU has a great record. NAU didn't quite follow through as well as GCU did, but those are still quad 3 losses. You only have 1 quad 1, 2 quad 2s. Most of your wins are, quad 4. Average net win was 164.
Wow.
So, and non-conference SOS was 170. Yeah, I don't think that's going to get it done with 19 wins this year. ESPN has them as next 4 out, so not the first 4 that don't make it, but the next 4. Her Hoop Stats has them as first 4 out. So, I mean, they're right in that area, but I don't think they did enough against the kind of competition to get in the way they did last year.
You mentioned money, and we're talking with Kim Doss, AZ Desert Swarm. She writes all things Arizona women's athletics. You mentioned money, and we talked about this on the men's postgame show the other night, that we're entering into, obviously, this new era with revenue share. And I believe that not only does the university or the athletics program have a decision to make about where women's basketball is going to rank in that and all of that, but I think this community has a decision to make about where they want Arizona women's basketball and how much money they're willing to put into this. Because like you said, I mean, you've got Baylor and you've got TCUs and you've got some of these teams that are able to throw nice 6-figure incomes at players, and let's not kid. And I think I said Saturday, let's not kid ourselves. Brea Cunningham maybe only scored 4 points in that game the other night, but there's probably going to be 10 schools that are going to line up to want to pay her to come play for them at an SEC school or larger or another Big 12 program. Is the money going to be there to fund this program moving forward and keep it in a place where it can be NCAA competitive annually?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe enough to get into the tournament, but it's going to be like sweating it every year. I mean, we saw players leave Arizona last year that would not have gotten money, that were backups at Arizona, and they got not 6, but they got good 5-figure deals elsewhere. I mean, Arizona's not throwing around that kind of money because it's not there. And if what happens is they follow the lead of like Texas Tech, which is 2% of that. What is it, 20 million or whatever it is,
Right.
the rev share. That's not competing with the big schools. And then there can still be NIL on top of that.
Yeah.
So there's no way Arizona's going to be the kind of team that's competing for Final Fours with that level of investment.
So then, what do you think? Because obviously, with them losing in the first round, that began the conjecture once again about whether Adia can get this done here. What do you think her future is here? Not having a current contract. I would think they're not going to let her go into next year without a contract. That wouldn't probably be smart for either side. Do you believe Desiree Reed-Francois gives her another deal here? Do you believe she wants to have another deal here?
I believe she wants to have a deal if she feels wanted and if she feels like the program is a priority. And I'm not sure whether either of those things are true. So, I mean, I think things would have to change dramatically for either side to be happy.
Yeah. Kim Dosh joining us, AZ Desert Swarm. Okay, so softball loses 2 out of 3. That was a bit of surprise. You were out there, I would imagine. Or actually, you probably weren't out there for all of it. I think you were out there yesterday, though. Not a very good fundamental weekend for the Wildcats.
No, it wasn't. I expected it to be a competitive series, because UCF might be the best team in the Big 12 that no one's heard of out here. It was a consistently solid mid-major. One of those teams like South Alabama or Louisiana Lafayette, who are good programs that you just don't hear about because of the size and their location. So I expected that to be competitive, but Arizona not being able to play defense for a couple of games was I think that was the biggest difference, and that's what really killed them.
When you look at, we mentioned the Gym Cats at the top. They finished second place in the Big 12, but obviously the Big 12 on the gymnastics side is not as strong a conference as the Pac-12. But is this a better team, across the board than what you believe the Wildcats have had in recent years?
I think it's much, much deeper, yes. I think as the years have gone on, John Court has been able to bring in more depth. And that's the biggest difference. So, yes, I think they're a much better team. I still think they would have been in the bottom half of the Pac-12 just because you had, 4 or 5 teams at the top who were among the best in the country. In the Big 12, you still have Utah, which is, a blue blood. And Denver is very close. They're not at that level, but they are a very good program. Arizona beat them, but Denver's come on later in the year. And they're getting scores that Arizona does not get. So I think Arizona is probably the third best in the conference, which, they would not have been in the Pac-12. So I think they still would be competing at maybe trying to push into that top level, but I don't think they would have got there in the Pac-12. But they are a better team now.
We shall see. Series number 2 for Arizona softball coming up this weekend against, I believe, Utah, correct? They play Utah?
Right.
Yeah, the Utah Utes will be in town this weekend for a 3-game series. Senior night for the Gym Cats, a non-conference meet against Utah State. And we will wait to see what happens Sunday night with the selection show, and if the Wildcats are going to the NCAA tournament or the WBIT, which that was a great question you asked to Adia if they would play. I was hoping somebody would ask that, and it sounds like they will if that's what they get offered.
Right.
Kim, we appreciate you as always. Thank you so much.
Anytime. Thanks a lot, DK.
Kim Doss, AZ Desert Swarm is the website. They do a phenomenal job over there covering your Arizona Wildcats. Kim and Brian and Juan and Ezra and everybody. So be sure you give them a follow and follow her on the Twitter at KimDoss71. Kim Doss, DOSS 71. Cricket. I don't know if Cricket's on Twitter or not. I'll give you hers when we come back. Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic. Gates Pass Road and Camino de Oeste, a reported fire. Expect to see fire crews on scene. Collision reported Midtown Speedway near Tucson on Speedway to the east of Tucson Boulevard. For our weather, 50 the overnight low, 76 and sunny tomorrow. And there's a really good chance of rain by Thursday with a 90% chance of showers on Thursday. And it is 80 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
AutoNation Honda Tucson at the Auto Mall is your premier automotive destination in town. Explore the new 2025 Honda models and extensive collection of pre-owned vehicles. Experience no-hassle financing and our no-haggle one-price selection. Visit AutoNation Honda Tucson at the Auto Mall today.
This report is sponsored by Bank of America. What if your business could see beyond what is and into what can be? Whether you're a local shop or global enterprise, Bank of America gives you access to a range of business solutions to help make every move matter. What would you like the power to do? Find out how at bankofamerica.com/banking for business.
Hey, man. It's me, your furnace, man. Hey, can I get a light here, man? I know we live in Arizona, so I understand I'm not, like as cool as your air conditioner. But I still need a tune-up at least once a year, man. So get the best in town, man. Goodfellas AC, bro. Hey, anybody smell that, man? I swear it wasn't me. Okay, it was me.
Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. GoodfellasAC.com.
You're listening to The Jim Rome Show.
CEO quote, okay, B-Day done. Multiple platforms done. When is the smack off happening?
The smack off.
I don't know, CEO. You're the CEO. You tell me. Hey, Pat, you do know it is smack off 30, right? What are you waiting on, dude? The jungle is waiting on you, Pat. When the hell is the smack off?
The Jim Rome Show every weekday at 1 on Wildcats Radio 1290.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit GetEthos.com. That's GetEthos.com.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppables, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. GI Bill, SkillBridge, and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find. With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
It's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online, no medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/sports. Ethos.com/sports.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
This is Zach Gelb with the Sports Minute. This is what Myles Garrett told me back in early February when he initially requested a trade from the Cleveland Browns.
This is all about football. It's not about money or attaining another contract. Just want to play meaningful football at the end of the year, be playing into January and into February, and having that feeling of holding that trophy.
Ultimately, Myles was all about the money, which is fine, but he should have never expect to win that Lombardi while in Cleveland. I'm Zach Gelb.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small, loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Empower. Nick bought a new guitar, a 62 American Classic Electric. Does he know how to play? No. But Nick's Empower investment account has performed well. He got good at money, so he can be a little bad. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Past performance is not indicative of future returns. Investing involves risks. You may lose money. Advisory services are provided for a fee by Empower Advisory Group, LLC, EAG, a registered investment advisor with the Securities and Exchange Commission. This is a really, really, really good guitar solo.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Final segment of the show for today. Tomorrow, now, weather permitting, because I think it is supposed to rain tomorrow, but weather permitting, we'll be out at High Corbett Field because the Arizona baseball team is playing Arizona State tomorrow night. So hopefully the weather is good and we can get out there.
Is this one of these funky non-conference games against ASU?
Yeah, they play one. They used to play 2 non-conference, 5 total. Now they play 3 conference and 1 non-conference game.
Every year.
So this year's non-conference game is here because the series is in Tempe later on, conference series.
Can we boo that?
Well, no, I mean, they switched it every year. So
I just meant Tempe in general.
Oh, yeah. There you go. DW checks in on the text groove. He says, nothing packs a stadium and packs it loud and rambunctious like winning. He says, spot on analysis, JW. It's a transplant town. The dyed-in-the-wool diehard fans are in the minority, unfortunately. That's DW. We thank you for his thoughts. Fred Scheib checks in from New Jersey today. I assume U of A does these, but donors, especially large donors and people willing to buy super expensive seats, should get packages, best seats, limo pickup at the airport, time with the players and coaches, special tours, someone takes their food and drink orders, comped during games, sit in the team bench area, nice U of A swag, unlimited other ideas. Students want cheap seats, so more can sell expensive seats or get big donors. Cheaper can make seats. Students want cheap tuition too, so they should stop complaining about money buying admission. It lowers tuition. Sometimes I can't. Fred's a little all over the place. Sometimes I can't always make sense
Again,
of
if
everything.
the football team was if Arizona Stadium was packed, guys, every single game to capacity,
Yeah.
right? Then I think McKale ticket prices would be lower. But again, I think we've had several callers say the same thing, which is that it's the biggest revenue generating building on the campus. They've sold it out more or less for the past 40 consecutive years, and they're going to try to make as much money, especially with the huge deficit. So, I mean, I don't blame the powers that be for setting the ticket prices what they are, but you can't have it both ways. You can't have the loudest, most obnoxious college basketball crowd in existence and also have all the seats go to boosters who live in the foothills. It's two different worlds, right? Colliding.
Danny, you're on DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hey, guys. Thanks for letting me chime in.
Thank you.
So I've been listening to the whole show today, and, a lot of our perspectives on why. First of all, I mean, when Tommy made that comment, as you guys have said repeatedly, the very first thing he said, okay, let's remember, our team is 5-8? No, 3-5 over the last 8 games, right?
Yes,
3-5
over the last 8.
Okay. So that's part of it. Another part, like J-Dub is saying, there's transient money. The students are transient. When I was in school here, 30+% were from out of state, have 20,000, and now it's still the same, which means there's a lot of families that come in and feed our economy for their kids, but then they go away, right? They go back to Connecticut or wherever. There's a couple things. One thing that I think is attributable is when I saw that Umar Ballo was going to Indiana last year, my first thought was, really? We can't afford to keep one of the greatest people and a very good player here that's been here since Tommy got here. I mean, he was with him in Mexico, right, guys? In teenage basketball.
Right.
I went to Gonzaga. And when we couldn't keep Umar Ballo here, I'm going, well, do we really have NIL money that competes with other people? What do you guys think?
Well, I think the Umar thing, there were a lot of different angles on that. I think you also, I mean, Umar had been here a while because of COVID. I think that's part of it. I mean, he had gotten to the point you still having guys who should already be aged out of your program, and so he was blocking another player that they thought could be the guy for the next 2-3 years, and so it's like Tommy's going to have to make decisions this year. I mean, he's not going to be able to keep Awaka and Krivas and Vesar. One of those guys is probably going to be on the way out somewhere. Those are just decisions that have to be made every year. And I get what you say. He was a great kid. I mean, everybody loved him and would have liked him to stay, but it was time for him to move on, and they wanted to hand the reins to the younger player. And obviously, unfortunately, that didn't work out because of the injuries.
And I was just using an example, and it kind of goes to my overall point that, I've shared with you guys, Lloyd Olson came to Iowa when I was in about the 3rd or 4th grade. I discovered college basketball. He came here my junior year. Used to be able to sit right behind the visitor's bench, and we did all the time. Lloyd Olson also had 17 seasons with 9 or less losses for the whole season. So there's the monster that we built within ourselves, right?
Victim of your own success, right, Danny?
Yeah, and we're not even going to go to the Lloyd Olson then to – I do remember when we were in Minneapolis for the championship game, we didn't even really care that we lost to Duke. We did, but we were just in Indy and won, and we went, well, shit, we'll be right back. Crap, we'll be right back. And here's my thought with Tommy saying, as far as how excited or how into it the people in McKale get or not, you bought into a program that expects to win, like you guys have mentioned, and I'm a subscriber. If we don't go to the Final Four, it's a failure.
Well,
I mean, and that's just kind of what we became accustomed to.
Danny, I don't go that far, and I appreciate your call. We got to run, but yeah.
No. I just mean, as the fan who puts our heart and our passion and our money into it, we got used to it.
Yeah.
So when we go to the pond and lose to Kansas twice in the Elite Eight, we start to take that hard. So I don't mean it's a failure, but I'm saying as a group overall, the Arizona fan population, we want that success back.
Absolutely.
And I think it'll come, but maybe it starts with, getting a shooter that can actually score.
Hey, Danny, we only got 2 minutes left in our show, so call tomorrow, okay, buddy?
Yeah, appreciate you, Danny.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you. Appreciate it, man. Let's give you our Desert Diamond Casino replay brought to you by Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook. It is Arizona's best bet. And it is the ladies from Pima College who won the region title over the weekend. Annalise Holthouse, Rory Hoffmeyer on beating Mesa on the road.
It was definitely like a surreal moment. I mean, I've been to a lot of regional playoffs. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. But, I mean, there's only been one time where Pima has cut down Mesa's net, and unfortunately they didn't get to go to the national tournament because of COVID. That was the year of COVID. Yeah. So it's a really special moment for, I think, our team, but especially with me and my dad, being able to cut down Mesa's nets for a second time. So feels a little extra stuff.
When you ran and jumped into his arms, I saw that video. What was that? What was in your heart when you went and you hugged your dad like that?
Well, we all ran out to the court, and I was like, "Wait, I got to go hug my dad." I mean, he's our coach, yeah, but this is such a special moment to share between a father and a daughter, and I can't leave him hanging over there. I know he had his coaches to go hug, but I think I owed him one.
And Annalise Holthouse joining us along with Rory Hoffmeyer from the Pima women's basketball team. And Rory, obviously you guys had played Mesa a couple times this season. And they always talk about how it's so hard to beat a team 3 times in 1 year. What was the game plan going up there to try to secure this region championship and knock off the rivals?
We had a game plan of just being the tougher team. Like, in the end, it was the team that wanted it most came out on top, and Pima wanted it most, and we had prepared for it for the first time. We lost to Mesa, but we knew that once we won them first, we knew it was done. Season was over, and we were going to cut down their nets.
All right, that is your Desert Diamond Casino replay brought to you by Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook. It is Arizona's best bet. Annalise Holthouse and Rory Hoffmeyer from the Pima women's basketball team. That is going to wrap up our show for today. Thanks to everybody that was a part of it. Thanks to Kim Doss for joining us. Thanks to Annalise and Rory as well. For cricket, for J-Dub, for Dragon Ball, my name is David Kelly. That's our time for tonight. Thank you very much for your time. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. DK on the Sports Tip right here, Wildcats Radio, 1290.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With collisions that are reported crash at Prince and First Avenue and Prince Road. Also, earlier wreck that occurred Speedway near Tucson on Speedway to the east of Tucson Boulevard. And also roadwork Sunrise Drive west of Sabino Canyon. 50 the overnight low, 76 sunny tomorrow, and 79 now. And that's your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Discover. Listen, you can skip this ad, or you can double your first year cash back with Discover. Still here? Good choice. Discover automatically matches all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
All right, she's inside. Are you good?
Yeah. It's just, she's my baby girl, you know?
I do, and ceramic coating was a good choice.
Oh, she's beautiful.
Yep, I know.
Recon Auto Detailing. Enhance or restore your baby to her former glory with paint recondition, ceramic coating, paint protection, tinting, and more for full protection of your vehicle inside and out. New cars, old cars, we love them all. Recon Auto Detailing, 3829 North Oracle Road, Tucson. ReconDetail.com.
TFCU Gives supports local organizations who help those in need. We take pride in giving back and believe that we are stronger when we all pitch in to help one another. For over 50 years, The Haven has provided women with a safe, inclusive place for recovery with respect, without shame or judgment. TFCU invites you to join us in partnering with The Haven for the health and respect of all women throughout our community. Visit thehaventucson.org to learn more.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
Broadway in Tucson presents the 20th anniversary season featuring 7 Tucson premieres, including Disney's Beauty and the Beast, Hell's Kitchen, Moulin Rouge, The Wiz, Back to the Future, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and more. Secure your signature season tickets today and get the best seats at the lowest prices. Visit BroadwayInTucson.com and secure your 2025-2026 season tickets today.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are.
On a game day on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is the ultimate team when it comes to your home's comfort.